Andrea, and what's your name?
I'm MJ.
We're the Last Down Podcast. This is the episode you've all been waiting for. At least I've been waiting for. When we first made this podcast and we were like, let's do F1, IndyCar, NASCAR, we were like, imagine the episode where we get to talk about Monaco, Indy 500, and the Coke 600. And guess what day it is? Today. Did you have a wonderful motorsports Christmas?
I did have a wonderful motorsports Christmas. I got everything I wanted and more, except not.
There were some things. Yeah, there were some things that were a little iffy in the middle. But then also, we did the triple for the last time. This will be the last time that this will happen, which is kind of sad when you think about it, because it's like, I'm just getting going, you know what I mean? Like, let's do the triple again every weekend. But yeah, it's kind of sad.
We kind of do the triple every weekend. Like you and I.
Triple. Yeah.
Like if you think about it, there's not many weekends where we don't watch all three of them. But these ones were just like longer.
It's not like the triple.
Yeah. We don't have Takuma Sato in most of our triples.
No, that's so true. That's so true. There's like not Takuma Sato. There's not Milk. There's not whatever the fuck they're doing in Monaco, boats and shit. There's not... man, that NASCAR race is long. That is
too long.
That's a really long NASCAR race. That has 4 stages. I think that's 1 stage too many. Maybe 4 stages too many.
It's an endurance race. That's an endurance race is what we just watched. It started at 5 p.m. It is 10 p.m.
Wow. What a day it's been. Well, we could get started in just the order of operations. We can start with F1. But first, hold on. I have an admin announcement. In the show notes to this episode, there's going to be a Google form link to buy the Lapsdown hat. You do not have to buy the Lapsdown hat. It's just, if you want it, it's $25. It is a pre-order, and the pre-order is going to end of the day Wednesday. End of the business day Wednesday. Okay? 5 p.m. Eastern. That's when it closes. That's when I'm placing the order. And after that, we'll open it again up maybe in a couple months or something like that. But this is the first inaugural round of the Lapsdown hats, and we got to shut it down sometime. So that's the time. Also, thank you to everybody who has joined us. We have lots of new fans and followers and homies and listeners that are coming from the Christian interview. Nice to meet you. Nice to see y'all. Be sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Anyways, F1. They started the F1 weekend out probably in the funniest way ever, which was the F1 movie screening for all the drivers, where they rented out a normal-sized movie theater, yet they made them all sit together. Aww. And I was like, I don't think that they're the audience for this F1 movie. These are the worst people to show it to first. They're gonna hate it. And
it's like watching, like, if you worked like a retail job, like those really dramatic video trainings,
right?
And it's like, that's the workplace, but it's like none of this would actually happen, you know?
Yeah. And it's just like, what do you do during those trainings? You try not to giggle. Oh, okay. I try not to giggle because I think they're funny. You sleep. That's probably a range of what happened during this premiere. We get the drivers coming out, and Kimmy, they asked for him for a review, and he says, it's very long. Which, I don't know about you guys, that's code for that movie fucking sucks. And then Ocon, Carlos also hated it. Carlos says something along the lines of like, it's not for me. Somebody out there will like it.
He said it'll be good for people who don't like watch and understand F1. He's like, it's not for like us who do F1. It's like for people outside of F1. And I was like, hey,
I'm sorry,
that's crazy.
Brutal. But Ocon was like trying to be excited about it. And he was talking to a bunch of journalists. And he goes, my favorite part is the ending. And then he proceeds to spoil the whole ending. Like, describe it in detail. And the journalists are like, hey, just, you know, none of us have actually seen it. And Ocon's like, oh, I thought the movie was already like out. He has no idea what the fuck's going on.
No.
But
no, he's working.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. I was just told to come to this. It was a fun movie. But there's something so funny about, like, one of them had to ruin it for everybody. And, of course, it's Ocon. I love that for him.
Yeah. Bless his heart.
Okay, so then we have qualifying. Unfortunately, Kimi Antonelli crashes in Q1. Honestly, this is his first crash of the year, right? right? I don't know. I might lie and make that up. I think we thought it was going to happen more.
No, I feel like I don't know. He crashed last year. I don't know what he's done this year.
He didn't crash in Australia. He didn't crash in Australia, and all the other rookies did. I don't know. I think we just thought. We thought he was going to crash more. I think it's interesting that he crashed in Q1, and everybody went, not too bad. George also lost power because he jumped a curb, I think, and it somehow shut the whole car off. I don't really know how that works. They should probably check that out. I don't think it should do that. But he was during qualifying doing something, and he just jumped the fuck out of a curb, and then like the car slammed back down, and there was like no power, and then he couldn't turn it back on. So, and he was in the tunnel. So then they're like, well, the only way, you got to get out of the tunnel. We can't bring a crane in here. So then they had to like push him out. And he's like just riding on the top like Princess Diana. Ooh, Princess Diana in tunnels. Not a good mix.
Ooh, wow. That was great.
My favorite part, though, of qualifying was Esteban Ocon made it to Q3. I guess Haas was not anticipating this because his engineer gets on and they're like, we did it, Esteban! Woo! Fuck yeah! And he just goes... and he just starts like giggling. He's so giddy. He's so excited. I love Esteban. And all I could think about was this is last year where he got fired because he hit his teammate.
Oh my god, yeah, because he purposefully hit Pierre. And then you just see him walking off, and they're like, yeah, I don't think that's going to bode too well.
And then, like, that next
Redemption.
week, we got like, an Alpine statement where they're like, we've mutually decided to part ways. And I was like, does it have anything to do with the part where he crashed into his teammate? I love Esteban.
How do people, so many people dislike Esteban, and I was like, nothing he does is wrong, everything he does is funny, I like him. How do you dislike him?
He's just having a good time. How can you hate the guy?
He's one of the only drivers I think actually likes driving.
Yeah, he's giggling. He's giddy. Everybody else is hating their life, and he's like, yay, Q3. I don't know. I think he's like probably one of the happiest drivers Haas has had in like as long as they've existed. This man is like every other driver they've had has been like depressed and decrepit. Having a bad time all around. The only time Kevin Magnussen was having a good time is when he was getting penalties, and then they were like, you can't do that anymore, buddy.
Right.
Esteban doesn't even need that to have a good time. All natural. Wow. And then, of course, as always with Monaco, it comes down to Q3 who's going to get pole, because we know how this parade works. We don't need to goof about with the Sunday race very much, you know? Let's just get to the point. Lando takes pole from Charles at the last possible second, and there you go. That's the race result. There you go. Good job, everybody. We can go home. Nailed it. He did break the lap record for Monaco. Yeah, no. Go ahead, guys.
That's him, Lando.
Yep. He's came here because I'm about to fucking talk shit on him. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he gets a pole. He puts in a pretty killer lap, and I think he was like, you know what? I think I've decided to start doing qualifying good again. I think I realized it sucks not to, and I should start trying more. And then he did. But there were so many little intricacies about this that I loved. First of all, we have the white McLaren robes that had the bride font on the back.
Cute.
So cute. So lovely. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, it was a special edition for Monaco, and it has that beautiful Pinterest wedding font. What?
Did they do the white because Aero McLaren also did the white? Why did they all do the white?
No, they did the white because something, I guess, is what vintage McLarens used to, like, they put little vintage decals on it, and then, like,
it was just coincidence that both teams were wearing white?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah, and then the cursive is old-timey. Duh. That you gotta have the old, you gotta have the old-timey font. And then we have Zach Brown screaming something about, like, this is your daddy! Your daddy's here! And then just, shoving
he ends
dad.
Doesn't he end it with, I'm your daddy?
something, lots of daddy talk happening here. And I was like, okay, Zach Brown needs to work through whatever this is. Eesh.
Yeah.
And then he hard launched his girlfriend. The internet was super normal about that. They handled that really well. Good job, internet. And I don't know, the TV direction in Monaco, it just gives messy. They like to do drama. Like, I don't know if they hire somebody specifically for Monaco just to, like, do drama, but they kind of nailed it. So then, I don't know, the race happens. Lando almost bottled the start. He's like, you guys thought I was going to do what I did last year. Ha! Gotcha. He smoked the fuck out of his tires, locking up on the first turn. I don't know. Do you think he has it in him to go back to the Lando of last year? Maybe he was like, I need to start doing good in qualifying, but bottling the start again. That's when I was at my best. I've lost my way. I focused so much on not losing it on turn 1. I forgot you're supposed to do good on Saturday too. You got to put the 2 and 2 together, buddy. You can do it.
Yeah, both days are important. But hey, whatever works for him works for him.
Yeah, I'm finding a way to talk shit about him. He won the race, spoiler alert. So, like, he doesn't need me to talk shit on him. You know what I think it is? I think it's this sweater. This sweater is, like, depositing wool into my throat.
Well, go change.
Count your days, Newly. Okay, fine. Jeez. Okay, fine. I'm going to change. I'm going to wear this in the thumbnail, though. They look cute.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, guys. I'm wearing a different outfit. I'm throwing the whole thing off. I couldn't with that sweater. It's trying to take me out. Okay. Then we have Kimi and Bortoletto. They're like, oh, I heard that we're passing on Monaco now. And they're rookies, so they don't know how this works and that you can't do that. So they're trying to pass each other, and Kimi accidentally just runs Bortoletto straight into the wall.
Sure.
And of course, that ends exactly how you think it is, with every single person then pitting and putting on, like, their first set of tires. Not every single person. There was a lot of people who didn't. But, like, they thought they were like, okay, 2 pit stops, we're fixing this. And then it's like, first pit stop out of the way for almost everybody. We're done with that.
Right, because Monaco famously never has any collisions on lap 1. Famously. Can't think of a single time.
Yeah, right. Never happened. And then we have another crash on lap 9. We have Gasly. He just, like, loses his brakes and runs, like, straight into Yuki. And Yuki's like, now, what the fuck was that? He thinks it's on purpose. He doesn't realize that, like, Gasly doesn't have any brakes. So he genuinely is like, dude, this is, like, the 3rd time this season that my best friend has betrayed me in this way.
Trying to take me out.
It's always Pierre and Yuki. But I don't know. He has to be stopped by the mechanics, like in the pit lane? Is that what happened?
Yeah, because his brakes didn't work, so the mechanics had to stop him.
Robert Schwartzman style.
I said, hey, quick question. Why wasn't that red flagged? Thoughts? Car, no brakes, just coasting. But I'm like, also, do whatever you want. At this point, we might as well spice it up a little bit, huh?
I feel like that's just Pierre, like, showing off. Being like, look what I can do. I can drive it,
Look
no
how
brake.
fast I can go. Have you guys ever noticed how fast you can go if you don't have any brakes?
Okay, this is an MJ note. Hold on. Let me digest this because I haven't read through these before the podcast. Oscar slows down for double yellows and Max tries to overtake him because I thought that was weird because I thought you weren't allowed to do that under double yellows, but then Max argued it. No, that is kind of something I thought as well in the moment because he does this a lot. I love you, Max, but, like, why do you do this? He'll get, like, right next to somebody under a safety car. I'm not passing them. I'm not ahead of them. I'm just next to them. And I'm like, yeah, but maybe he thinks this is like IndyCar, where on the restarts you go side by side.
Oh, you know what?
I think he's confused. I think that
does
what
make sense.
Happens. Yeah. He's like, guys, if we don't line them up, they're gonna make the pace car do another lap.
They're gonna make us. Yeah, it's gonna be a false restart. We're all gonna have to go again. Just everyone get in line.
He's like, shape up, everybody, please get 2 and 2.
I just thought that was funny because he was like arguing. He was like, no, I'm pretty sure I should be in front of. Pretty sure I should be able to pass Oscar right now. And I was like, I was like being gaslit. I was like, no, yeah, I think you can pass under double yellows if you're in Monaco. I don't know. I mean,
They're
he
just
sounds
so
pretty
excited.
sure about it.
They're so excited about an overtake. They're like, by any means possible. Yeah, no, go for it.
Whatever,
We're
go
having
for
fun
it.
now. We're having fun. Oh my gosh. Well, then we start fuckassery. Okay, this is when people are like, yeah, I know we're supposed to do 2 pit stops and we're supposed to overtake each other, but like we don't want to do that. So like, what can we do to play the system? And VCarb is the first to think of a thought where they basically go, what if we sacrifice Liam Lawson's entire day, make him go so slow that everyone behind him leaves a big enough gap that Hajar can get essentially a free pit stop. Do you guys like know how big of a gap that has to be? That has to be like a really big gap to be able to go all the way down the pit lane in the speed limit, get new tires, come all the way back out, and still be in front of all the people that were behind you. And VCarb's like, yeah, we're going to do that. And they do. They do, and it works. And I think they do it twice with Liam and Hajar. They literally sacrificed Liam's whole day for this. Oh, my God. And then McLaren is like, we can do this with Oscar. Oscar's going to get second place. He's going to overtake Charles. Let's undercut him. Let's go. And they do probably the slowest fucking pit stop I've seen. Oh, my God. McLaren is so annoying lately with pit stops. They keep fucking them up. And you know what? I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on. I'm gonna be like those McLaren fans that are always like, McLaren actually hates Lando and they're purposely disadvantaging him. That's how I feel every fucking week when Oscar gets a 3-second pit stop. It literally happens every week. I'm like, what is your problem with Oscar? Why do you guys keep doing this? Oh my goodness, it's so angry. And then oh my God, and then the race leaders, the lapping. Let's get into the lap traffic situation. Do you want to get into it? What was happening on Sky Sports? You said people were complaining about blue flags.
Oh, yeah, we got a radio from, I think first it was Lando, who was just kind of like, hey, are these guys getting blue flags? Because I should be able to pass them. Like, I'm coming up on them. I've got the speed. I should be able to pass them. And he was, like, pretty chill about it. I was like, okay, maybe they're not handing out blue flags. That's crazy. Racing for your position. Crazy. Unheard of. And then Charles gets on, and he's, like, really whiny about it. He's like, what the fuck are they doing? He didn't swear.
She's ad-libbing. She's ad-libbing.
I'm ad-libbing that. But he was, like, really whiny about it. He's like, they need to have blue flags. I need to be able to go around them. And I was like, race them. You're the faster car. Race them.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? And then they were talking about on the broadcast was kind of siding with, like, there's not really a good place here to let someone by. So they're like, why would you force someone to get off? This is when we started to kind of like move away from F1 in general. And they're like, isn't it kind of weird that you would force another driver to get off the racing line just so you could give them a position that they're not fighting for? I was like, that's crazy, groundbreaking, revolutionary.
They discovered how other racing series work.
Literally.
I will say, like, it's different when it's, like, a race for the lead, and it's annoying when there's, like, a fuck-ass steak Sauber in the way or something, and they're, like really in the way. I get that. But they were lapping all the way up to, like, 6th and 7th place, guys. Like, they were lapping, because as we discussed, there was, like, these tactics going on of, like, slowing everybody down that much, that they were, like, getting lapped all the way up to that place. Those people are genuinely racing their own race. Like, they're not just, like, lapped cars fucking around in the back. Like, they're actually racing their own race. And now they're, like, all having to be like, okay, everybody, let's, no funny business. Let's all just, like, stay in our little line and let all the leaders go by and get off the racing line for them so that they can race there. It's like, I don't know. I kind of am like, there is a difference in my annoyance level with the blue flags.
I think the blue flags are just dumb, period. If this is the pinnacle of motorsport, figure out how to go around the stake that's in the back. Figure out how to go around Ollie Behrman. Figure it out. You can do it.
And I think something that F1 fans don't realize if they don't watch other motorsports is how fun that can be. That can really close up the leaders. Like, when you have, like, a Max Verstappen back in 2023 going, like, a bajillion seconds ahead of everybody, one of the fun things that could prevent that from happening is if he had to do his own race against lapped traffic and not just get a free wave by.
It can, like, very much alter the race. Just, like, think of how interesting some of these races would be if traffic were an issue or a factor, we would have some of those overtakings that you get in other. I don't know why they don't have it. I'm sure there's a reason. I've made up my mind. I don't
both
need
of the
reasons.
both of the other races that happened today were impacted by lapped traffic in a fun, interesting way. Guys, it's not just a namesake of the pod. Being laps down is fun.
Being laps down can make a difference.
You can fuck with other people's race in such a fun and unique way. Have you guys ever been a Stingray Rob in the back fucking with somebody's race? It's fun. It's fun. They get joy out of it.
It's important to me.
It's important to motorsports. And that's so true, MJ. Let us know in the comments, guys, should F1 get rid of the blue flag? Let us know. I think MJ convinced me. Fuck it. No more blue flag. Race, bitch. You gotta race like the rest of us. And then this is when, oh, by the way, in the background of all of this, Williams is doing their own fuckassery. Okay? We'll come back to that.
Coming on Sky, and because we kept getting James Vowles interviews on Sky Sports, coming on Sky and James Vowles being like kind of annoyed that V-Carb is doing it. And then like 5 or 6 laps later, they're like, I think the Williams are doing the same thing.
Yeah. No, they literally, I think like V-Carb literally like unlocked something in James Vowles' brain where he's like, I didn't even think you could do that. Oh yeah. Let's fucking do that. Let's do that.
That's what I do.
One of my favorite radios of the race was Max Verstappen coming on and saying, my gear shifts feel like Monaco Grand Prix 1972. I was like, right. Do you think that's the most helpful? Do you think that's the most helpful feedback you can give your engineering team about your gearbox issues? It's the most helpful thing you can think of. But then on the F1 TV commentary, they're like, do you think he's ever driven an F1 car from 1972? Oh, I have. Yeah. I was doing this event with Lotus, and I got to drive in 1970. I was like, guys, this is how boring this fucking race is. Do you guys understand? This is what we have to talk about on commentary? Are you joking? Wait. And then Fernando's car eats shit. What happened to Fernando's car? Do you know?
It went kaput.
Like engine failure?
It stopped.
Oh, rats.
He said, I'm a pull off. I'm a park right here. Carry on without me.
Bye, guys. And then he gives a speech about being the unluckiest man in F1.
No, they called him that on F1 TV. They called him the unluckiest man in F1. And I go, people have died in F1.
Also, I think, like, generally, if you have 2 world championships, you weren't that unlucky.
You chose to come out of a blissful retirement, join a team that has not been very good, famously.
Right.
Like, you're not unlucky. You're just, and, like, I love Fernando or whatever. You're just sitting in the bed that you've made for yourself. Sorry, broski. What do you want me to do? Why are you complaining to me about it?
With a lot of people that are unlucky in F1, I could give this same speech because I didn't see what was happening because I wasn't paying attention, and you were like texting me about this unluckiest man in F1 thing, and I thought you were talking about Charles because everybody always says Charles is the unluckiest man in F1. And with Charles, you know what? Hearts up. I'm going to give my speech too. I never want to hear about Charles being the unluckiest man in F1. He's still with that team, that fuck ass team. He's a good driver. He could go to other teams.
I think luck is less of a factor in F1 than it is in other motorsport series. So I think there are some times where it's like your power unit shut off. That sucks. Yeah. You hit a curb and your whole entire multi-million-dollar car turns off. Like, oh, rats. But it's like, I feel like luck is less of a factor here than we see like luck like ruin people's lives in other motorsports.
Yeah.
So my threshold is a little bit less. Especially with Fernando. Bro, you were retired. You could have had a happy life. You decided to go to Aston Martin.
You could have been doing the double every year and just having a good old time.
You could have been, absolutely kicking Kyle Larson's ass at the Indy 500. You chose to be here.
And you know what?
Love you.
If you want to go back to kicking Kyle Larson's ass at the Indy 500, we'd love to have you.
Please.
Come on by.
Please.
Please. It'll be so fun. Okay. So let's get into the Williams of it all. So it starts with Carlos. Carlos is holding back George and Kimmy, who are stacked up behind him, to a ridiculous degree. And then they have Alex do 2 pit stops under this crazy shenanigans. And it's so insane. And I thought, okay, that was crazy. Let's get back to normal life. They switch the cars and then they go, okay, Carlos's turn now.
One more time.
What? Are you joking me?
But
and you had James Vowell's interviews during this. I don't get that on F1 TV. Was James Vowell's like just admitting like what they were up to, or was he trying to act like this was normal?
No, he like was fully. He started with like being like, I wasn't super sure what our strategy was going to be in like coming into this. He fully let on that he kind of got the idea from seeing another team do it. But it worked. It worked. I'm not even like, you want me to be upset? It worked.
So let's get into it, the discussion of it. So then George is getting mad because he at first was like, okay, I'm getting pissed at Carlos. But when they had the nerve to switch the cars, he was like, you're fucking joking me. He was so mad that he cut a corner just to get around Alex because he's like, I've had it with this. And then they were like, you're going to get a penalty for that because you need to either give Alex the place back or you need to take the penalty, but like you can't cut a corner and pass him. He's like, I'll take the fucking penalty. This is stupid. He was trying to say that Alex was driving so slow that it was like unsafe. But here's where like the discussion happened with the commentators. I'm curious what you land on with this. So Julian Palmer was like, it is ridiculously unethical and stupid for drivers to be like, I'll take the penalty. I'm getting pissed off. He was like, this is like just not how the sport works. Like, you're being a dick. Like, you know what the rules are. Like, we all try our best to play by the rules. You can't do this. But then you had David Coulthard that was like, I thought the rules were drive as fast as you can. And clearly that rule is not what we're doing. So this is fucking stupid. This is all fucking stupid. And he doesn't want to deal with it, so he's taking the penalty, and I respect him for it. Where do you land on the issue?
Who cares? It only affects his race, right? Like, if he decides to send himself into a wall, I'm not going to be like, well, I guess that'd be like Crashgate or whatever. If he decides to turn off his car and just like stop, I'd be like, okay, it was weird that you threw that fit in front of all these people on national television, but like, I guess I'll keep going. It's so unserious. It's like not an issue, but I do think, I don't know. I thought it was funny when George did that. He's like, he's driving so slow. He's making a point. Whether it was right or not, it's not really, that's none of my business. But I don't know. I didn't have some weird kind of like moral high ground where I was like, George, that is wrong to do. You're ruining the sanction of the sport. I don't like this from you. And he also gave back the position, right? Oh, no, he had the penalty.
No, he got the penalty, so then it dropped him back to, like, out of points. So, like, it was, like, Albon and Carlos were 9 and 10 again.
At this point, he hadn't stopped at all. So, man is acting out to get some attention from his father, who is Toto Wolff.
Well, let's get to that, because that in of itself is insane to me. So, like, people are, like, trying to say that V-Carb and Williams are like now there's going to be another rule that's like, you can't do that. If the race director thinks you're driving too slow, they're going to like black flag you or some shit. And my thing is like, Williams and V-Carb are playing the game that you made, which is making them race around this dumbass fucking track still. We've already established it doesn't work. It's not going to make a good race. You made a stupid 2 pit stop rule thinking that was going to save things. Last year, George did the same thing. George held everybody up to the point where Max was like, I'm going to take a nap behind George. He's going so fucking slow. Because he didn't want to waste any of his tires because he was only doing that 1 pit stop on lap 1 after the red flag. I was like, George did it too last year. You guys could have changed it after last year, and you didn't.
It's just part of Formula One racing with these regulations. Unfortunately, that's going to happen. Kevin Magnussen, bless his heart, rest in peace, he used to do this shit all the time to get Nico in the points.
He would take penalties like he would move under braking. He would do whatever 100%. He needed to do to keep these people behind him.
It's part of racing. It's part of racing, especially in Formula One. What do you want me to do? It's fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah. Don't make them race around this dumbass track with these honking
Fix
ass
the
cars.
Make them little again. Make cars petite again.
Petit lemon.
Lemon.
Okay, hear us out here. All right. So then they switched the Williams back, by the way, guys, because Carlos was like, okay, I did what I needed to do. Okay, switch him back. So we'll say one more thing before we get to the Mercedes of it all. Charles and Lando are battling it out. Charles literally has his nose up Lando's butt of his car. Okay, literally. And he can't even do anything. He can't pass him. And the TV direction at this point, they just cut to Jeff Bezos. I thought that was funny. It's like, this is a choice.
Don't know if I saw that.
It was insane, MJ. It was literally like the last shot that they show is like literally Charles' nose of his car is under Lando's car. And they go, do you guys want to see Jeff Bezos?
Why is Jeff Bezos there when NASCAR was on Prime? Shouldn't he be at the Coke 600? Isn't Prime his thing?
Maybe he went to the Coke 600. There's plenty of time. He could have made that flight. He did his own double. He's running his own race. He's skipping a step. He said, no Indy 500 for me. But anyways, Lando obviously won. Whatever. But after the race, we hear from Mercedes. Toto himself is like, I'm going to be honest, we forgot about the 2 pit stop rule for both of our cars. That's why we did not pit either of them until like lap 47 or something crazy. Why would he admit that? That's so fucking embarrassing. Nobody in your giant organization was like, hey, do you remember that 2 pit stop rule? They were talking about it all week on like the practices and everything.
There are 900 people. You think George would forget any detail about a race?
No.
You think George wouldn't go up to him and go, hey, we're still doing 2 pit stops, right? I think Toto forgot he had cars out there.
Yeah, why would he say that? Like, what is the motivation to lie about something that makes you look so stupid?
Because then we don't get the actual answer. And now I want more than anything to know what the actual answer was.
Yeah, like what really happened with your strategy? Because yeah, they had both of their drivers with 0 pit stops with like 20 laps to go. And I was like, what are we going to do here? Like, you got to do it twice. I don't really understand what the plan was here. Like, Max didn't pit till like the very end, but we knew what Max's plan was. He was like hoping for a yellow flag or something. Didn't happen. He had already built a gap. He was fuck it, and he got 4th place, whatever. I was like, okay, that is an actual strategy, what he's doing. I don't know what Mercedes was doing. They're so dumb. Oh my God. And what's funny is James Vowles used to be their strategist, and James Vowles was like, I was really bad at Monaco. I never knew what the fuck my plan was. I always fucked it up. I never was good at Monaco. And now he's like, take that, Toto. I learned. I didn't understand what was happening with the Lewis thing.
I didn't either. I put it in there because I was hoping you knew what it was. But apparently he got on the little radio. At first I thought it was AI, and then I saw enough people saying it that I was like, there's no way this could be AI when so many people are saying it's true. But he got on the radio and he's like, are you mad at me? Which I was like, that's so me.
Wait, that's really me. Oh
He's God, just like me. And then there was no response, and I was like, that'll be it. That'll be it for me.
I know. I always tell MJ, I'm like, I think everybody's always mad at me, always. I'm always like, yeah, they're probably mad at me. They probably hate me. It's funny to think that Lewis Hamilton has the same insecurities as me.
Are you guys mad at me?
I mean, were they? They never said if they were or not. Might have been. You got 5th place.
Like it.
Not good enough. Sorry, buddy.
I think 5th place, I think that's dazzling. I think he's doing a great job.
I think you are doing a good job, Lewis. Don't let Ricky get you down, okay? Ricky's a tough nut to crack. He was always weird with Carlos, too. You guys, Ferrari has communication problems, as we've established. It leads everybody to feel insecure in their relationship with their engineer, and it's not good and it's not healthy.
No.
Ropes course is still on the schedule.
Team bonding in June.
That is called a callback to a previous episode that you have to go find. I don't know which one it was. But anyways, yeah, Lewis and his engineer, they have problems. Lando 3 points behind Oscar now.
Whoa.
I didn't know that's how that
Watch out.
worked.
Oscar, he's right behind you. I don't know. That's just what they said on the broadcast. I'm not going to be doing my own math for McLaren's benefit.
Interesting. Well, I hope everybody had a good time. I hope everybody had fun. Can't believe that this is part of the Triple Crown of motorsports, to be honest, at this point. But I mean, good thing Monaco won't be on the same day as the 500 next year, so we don't have to embarrass them.
Is there a
like
different
that.
race on the same day as the 500, or is there just no race?
They haven't released the schedule. I'm assuming.
I hope.
I feel like it's no race. I feel like they're like.
I hope. What do I want it to be? I think it'd be fun if it was. No, Imola's not going to be on the schedule next year, is it?
Mm-mm.
It could be Spain.
Next year, Spain is going to be at a different track, and it's a shitty track.
Oh, yeah, the one where Carlos was like, no, don't worry, guys. I think it's going to look really good as soon as they start working on it.
And they're like, there's no room to pass. And he's like, well, I didn't know we had to do that anymore. I thought we could all build tracks where there's no room to pass.
Life.
He's like, stop demanding too much of her. Yeah, I think that they're going to do no race because I think they're tired of being embarrassed by the Indy 500 because they are. Every year, people are like, that's all you got? The pinnacle of motorsports? I also wonder, like, I think it'd be fun if they didn't have anything on the Indy 500 weekend because I think that we'd see F1 drivers come to the Indy 500 to watch.
Oh, yeah.
They're fucking
100%.
obsessed with the Indy 500. Like, last year when Max was like, can we wrap this shit up? Like, Indy 500 starts in 15 minutes. And I was like, they're just like us for real.
Yeah.
They're like, this race sucked ass. Can we go watch something cool now? I love them. Get the F1 drivers out to the Indy 500. Get them some sick ass seats. Get them in a suite with. Get them in the suite with RP. Get him up there.
RP.
RP's Roger Penske, by the way. We're cool with him now. We're sick. We're cool with him. We got fun nicknames for each other. He's growing on us. Raj. Yeah. He's working on his relationship with us. We call him RP now. Do we want to talk about IndyCar? IndyCar is so fun.
IndyCar.
Okay.
Friends, happy Indy 500.
RP's coming at you early in the week. Some Penske scandal shit. We kind of talked about the initial, like, rear attenuator issue in our last episode before the official, like, you guys have to go to the back of the field, which we'll talk about in a second. So if you want to get caught up entirely on the Penske cheating scandal, you really have no idea what was going on, and you want, like, all the play-by-play from last week, go listen to the last episode. But we'll start from Monday on our timeline.
Yeah, I'll just give it a brief little rundown because I feel like I could talk about this for hundreds of thousands of minutes. But on Monday, basically, they announced that the 12 and the 2 were going to be sent to the back of the grid. When
Joseph
previously,
Newgarden and Will Power.
Yeah, when previously they just didn't do the top 12 qualifying and they were at the back of the top 12 because they decided to blend the rear attenuator. So they broke rule, I wrote it down, 14.7.8.16, which if you go to the IndyCar rulebook,
that rule.
Rats. It's literally just a bullet point list of things you are allowed to, like, take the seam out of, like, remove the uneven surface. And rear attenuator, crazily enough, isn't one of them.
Not one of them.
But that kind of sparked this whole thing.
Well, can I just say, this was important to me when you told me that, because if it was a bullet point list of the things you're not allowed to do, and then you do something, and you're like, haha, like, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, like, I got one over on you, I'd be like, you know what, fair enough.
That'd be different.
I will say the way it's, like, kind of written, it's loophole proof. You can change the things of this and nothing else. That's it.
It's just 16 listed items.
And that's the only things you're allowed to do that to. Fill the semen.
Yeah, but they decided to do that on the rear attenuator, which is a safety part. We've talked about that. What else is important? Oh, and then this kind of brought up the whole discourse on the car that is in the IMS museum, Joseph Newgarden's car, that won the Indy 500 last year. It also has a blended rear attenuator, and people were pulling up pictures being like, I think Penske's had a blended rear attenuator since it was introduced in 2023. And Penske was like, yeah, we did. No, we didn't like it this whole entire time.
We
Like,
hated
it's
the way
been
it
blended
looked.
this whole entire time. So people were like, so Pato should have won the Indy 500. And that's where I started to slowly bang my head into a wall. Because no, this actually, it's 100%, which I think is almost more ridiculous than if it was for like an aerodynamic purpose. It's 100% like a Penske perfect thing. They thought it was trashy to have that like blue line, so they decided to fill it. The fact that it hadn't been caught before, I feel like isn't Penske's fault. Like, I don't think that's Penske's fault that I do, that they did it, but the fact that it's been multiple years and nobody caught it, that's crazy to me. That's the problem. That's
the problem. Like, okay, that's the problem, is the tech inspection of it all. I don't even care that they did. Like, I do care that they did it, because I'm like, that's, like, I hate this team. You guys are so fucking dumb. Like, what do you mean? You just didn't like the way it looked. Like, that's not a good enough reason to do any of this. It didn't win them any races. They shouldn't go back and be like, we're stealing back Joseph Newgarden's win and giving it to Pato. Pato was like, I don't want that. No, stop advocating for that, guys. He was like, I'm not interested in that. He was like, what's more embarrassing for them is that this didn't even make them faster. It was just dumb.
100%, I could see the conversation going down of someone just going, hey, that's kind of ugly. Should we fix it? And then another person going, yeah, should we, like, is that allowed? And then just all of them kind of like shrugging their shoulders and then doing it and just never changing it. That's what I think probably happened.
And then Tim Cindric's like, what the fuck does this have to do with me? Now I'm here.
Yeah, Tim Cindric, his whole interview was so freaking sketchy. Like, that they had on the day of qualifying. I'll never get over that. I was like, that, whatever.
He honestly probably got fired just for, like, that. They were probably like, you can't clearly handle an interview, so you should probably get out of here, huh?
Yeah, learn how to lie. Learn how to say, I'm not really sure what happened.
Yeah, RP was like, great, now I gotta go do my own interview with fucking Jamie Little because your interview was so sketchy and weird. Everybody's mad now. I gotta get up at 10 a.m. and put on a suit and do some Barbara Walters ass fucking interview because you're a bad liar. Get it together, buddy. You're out of here.
Get it together.
You're lucky I keep Austin.
Penske responded by announcing the departures, he fired him, of IndyCar team president Tom Cindric, IndyCar managing director Tim Cindric, and IndyCar managing director Ron Ruszewski, who is also the strategist for Willpower. I don't know how to say his last name. And then the IndyCar general manager Kyle Moyer. Basically just like cleaned house of the leadership group. I mean, and he kind of, it's genuinely none of their faults that this happened. Like, genuinely 100% none of their faults. But, like, to save face at this point after the scandal last year, which happened around the same time, and then this year, he had to do something.
I mean, honestly, like, if you work for Penske, I think you know what the expectation is. It is that Penske perfect. That's why you would do something stupid like this in the first place, like we've already said. But, like, that is the expectation. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You decided to lead an organization like this, and when something goes wrong, you probably should expect to be fired. And that's just how RP rolls.
I mean, yeah, he had to clear his name at this point. But they're looking into Doug Bowles. Bless his heart. I feel so bad for him because he's so excited about the Indy 500. And he's like, I've not had a good time. I've been dealing with this all weekend, whatever.
But, I told you guys just to be good and have fun.
Literally. Yeah, I just wanted everything to go well. He said that they are going to look into having like an independent like inspection agency. That's not what it is. Like an independent, you know what I'm talking about? Like an independent
governing
tech
body.
Inspection. I mean, not even, but just like an inspection body. I don't know. Because right now it's like obviously attached to Penske because Penske owns the series.
Yeah, I think that, like, of all of the criticisms of all of this, there was a lot of people speaking out of, like, I feel sorry for the drivers. I feel sorry for the people who got fired. I feel sorry for Roger Penske. And I heard James Hinchcliffe say it the best on his podcast, which was like, yeah, I feel sorry that Roger Penske probably didn't know that this was happening and now he has to deal with it. But it's also like, you didn't do enough to make it not look shady.
the like glaring oversight of the technical inspection being owned by you. These cars going through that technical inspection several times with this rear attenuator looking like this and nothing being said. I don't really feel sorry for RP on that one. I think you are now forced to act on something you probably should have acted on long before this. This was bound to happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, Penske Perfect should fall within the guidelines that your series created. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, sucks to suck.
They're probably the first ones on the CC email that goes out to everybody of rule changes. You know what I mean? Penske team. You gotta get on that, buddies. You gotta be sure to really read that. But I don't know. But I think that this was good because it was like they're in the back of the field. Whatever happens to the Penske's at this point is no rear attenuators have been messed with, and they're racing with their cars that they got, and whatever happens, happens. It cleared any... If they would have started in like 12th, 11th and 12th or whatever, that would have been, I think, like, just an issue.
I'm kind of the mind, I thought it was pretty harsh that they got sent to the back. No,
I thought it was harsh, but I just thought it was like, well, fuck it. Okay, everybody shut the fuck up now.
I thought they should have just left him at the bottom of the top 12.
Because your thing is that they got approved with those cars that they qualified with, and you can't go back on what you said was fine when they went through tech inspection.
I think sending them to... Well, and then I'm also of the mind, if you send them to the back of the grid, and Doug Bowles?
Doug Bowles.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
It's officially hit 11 p.m. and I just don't know who anybody is anymore. But he said something along the lines of, we just didn't have, like, any system in place that would have brought Jacob Abel back into the race. However, he was also in the same vein being like, no, we're working outside of the rules to put them in the back of the grid or back of the field. I'm kind of like, if you're not gonna say fuck off into last chance qualifying, if you're not gonna be like, okay, let Jacob Abel go against the Penske's to see if he can beat him for that last row,
that will change the outcome.
Why put him to the back in the first place? They didn't earn those spots.
No, you're right. I don't know. I think it was more of just like, okay, let's just start over. I think I get what you're saying. I think it just was like for ease. This was for the fans. This was for the fans.
It was optics. It was 100% optics.
So they were like
disqualify them then.
Okay. I would be fine
I don't know.
with that too.
I thought
that's what I said.
I thought that choice. I thought that that's what they were going to do. But there was no way for them to go back and check and see, like, if they qualified with the legal cars on Saturday. And I was like, well, did you think they decided to do this between Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, they did it last year. Something tells me they did it on Saturday.
I'm like, shall we go over to the IMS museum together? We can, like, hold hands and skip over and see when this started, possibly. But
I think my initial reaction, and the one that I think I would have went with if I was in whoever decided this, RP, Doug, whoever the fuck decided this, what I would have done is just disqualified them and been done with it. Because
I think so too.
They're both really good cars, really good drivers. They'll be back next year. They'll be fine. This isn't a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them. Like, it really doesn't matter. And I think it would have done... At this point, you needed to earn back the trust of the fans, no matter what rules you were operating within or outside of. The fans were angry. The fans felt cheated. They came to watch an Indy 500 that's fair and square, and the fans felt like that's not what they were getting. So let's just disqualify them, try again next year.
Like,
bring a better rear attenuator.
Had you disqualified them, you maybe wouldn't have had to. Maybe if Roger Penske would have just pulled those entries, I would have been like, yeah, no, I'm not going to make you fire your entire leadership. I think that was really sick of you, bro.
Yeah, I think, like, they had to do something drastic, and if they decided firing their leadership was what they were going to do, that was drastic.
That's crazy.
Okay, whatever, I guess. Who might argue with it? But that led us into Carb Day, where it was like, okay, we know what's going on. We know what's going on. We know the Penske's are in the back. Like, today's a new day. Let's get into it.
I love Carb Day.
So did they start Carb Day by milking the cows?
I think so.
They get up crack of dawn. and they send the rookies out to milk the
No,
cows.
I think they bring the cow to
The track.
to them. Yeah.
Okay, that's handy. They bring the cow to them, and they milk the cow. And Robert Schwartzman was down. He was milking that cow. Some of the other rookies, like Nolan Siegel, Louis Foster, they seemed a little bit more squeamish about it. But Robert was like, fuck no. I'm giving myself into the tradition.
He's
like,
still on cloud nine. He's like, I'm on pole. People are watching me. Let me milk this cow.
Yeah, he was living his best life. And then he apparently came into the press conference. And what went down? What went down here? I don't know what happened.
I think it was Marley's clip that showed this, but it was the front row press conference. So it was him, Takuma Sato, and Pato. And Robert was just talking all about the cow and milking the cow. And he was kind of like talking across Takuma Sato to Pato. And he was like, the lady who brought the cow actually told me that there has never been a driver to win the Indy 500 who hasn't milked the cow. They've all milked the cow as a rookie. And Pato was like, I didn't get to milk the cow because I don't know whether it was, I don't know.
Caroline?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really know.
They didn't want the cow to get COVID, so they didn't bring the cow for Pato.
We can't have the cow here.
We're making shit up.
Unsafe. But, and you could just see like a light bulb go off in Pato's head, and he like kind of looked towards the camera, and he's like, fuck, I gotta milk this cow. So they brought a cow. Like the next morning, he milked, her name was Rihanna the cow.
Fuck
and he was like, I'm all good now, guys. Don't worry. I figured it out.
No, I love that he was like, so fast to be like, well, I figured out exactly what I need to do then. We're going to have to contact those cow people, get them on the phone. He was so certain, steady in his stride. He was like, I'm going to fucking milk that cow. And then he did. The next day, he milked that cow. And he was like, really? I feel like you could see like a physical weight being taken off of him. Yes. He was like, I'm fine now. I'm going to win the Indy 500 someday. Obviously not this year. Spoiler alert. But like, you could tell he felt better. And I hope that does something for him.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened to everybody's car during carb day? They all come back for carb day. They come back to practice on carb day. They haven't done it for a couple days. Everybody's car is shit.
So something interesting about the Indy 500, and I'm going to say this, and if it's not true, everyone just cover your ears. You get 2 engines during the Indy 500. And a lot of times, all of the manufacturers will change their engines on the same day. So like, I think the Chevys changed theirs before qualifying or right after qualifying. And then, but all the Hondas changed theirs on a carb day.
Oh, fun.
So there you go. So that's why some of the Hondas were going kaput.
Well, we had Takuma Sato, mechanical issue. We had Graham Rahal, mechanical issue. We had Rossi, water pump issue. Different variety of mechanical issue, I guess. Ryan Ray, I did see him catch on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying that they knew that this could catch on fire because it happened earlier in the week.
Well, they just wondered because his teammate or
whatever
driver who was fielded by the same team. I don't really know if they're teammates.
Is it Jack
Harvey? Jack Hollywood Harvey. His hybrid like blew up, lit on fire. And so they were kind of like, well, maybe it was, that could have been it.
It's genetic.
They're from the same family.
They could all blow up at any minute. Just don't look at them. But I don't know. Carb day seemed like really chaotic. I didn't know it was like I thought we were all just gonna kind of go out there and goof around a little bit. Like I didn't think it was like a serious practice, and then it turned into be a very serious practice because everybody's car was fucking up.
Yeah, that's carb day for you. Joseph Newgarden topped the charts, obviously.
And then he also won the pit stop competition.
Obviously, we do not talk enough about how freaking good those pit stops are from the number 2 team. Mm-hmm. So good. Record-breaking last year. So good.
Yeah. Penske perfect. There you go. And then
for real,
you would be mistaken to believe, but I could see how it could happen, that the Slaw Dog is potentially Penske perfect as well. Slaw Dog in the Weenie 500 did a last lap pass to win.
Beautiful. Last second. People were calling it a photo finish, and I think it was just because of the length of the cars. I was like, I could tell, I think, with my eyes. But they were like, photo finish. It was
Fair
beautiful. I thought it was funny that they did the Wiener 500 because when they first said they were going to, I was like, this is a bit. I'm getting pranked. And then you see all six of them. And someone tweeted out something along the lines of, isn't it crazy that all 6 of the Wienermobiles can be in the same place? Shouldn't there be a designated survivor? And I was like, yeah, there actually probably should be.
Yeah. I think that I thought, like, when they said there was going to be a Wienermobile 500, I kind of thought, like, oh, like, they're going to, like, do, like, just the front stretch or something like that. And then I was like, oh, we're doing laps. Okay, let's go. Clock in.
Hell yeah.
They did also they had a hybrid explode in the Wienermobile 500.
No. Oh, I saw that.
No, not the hybrid issues in the Wienermobile 500. Okay. Pre-race storylines. We're gonna give it to you straight, okay? Penske, Joseph, 3-peat from the back. Can he do it? I thought he could. MJ thought he could.
I do too.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought he could. I thought that's kind of sick, and that'd be really cool, and that'd be the best way to get a 3-peat ever. Kyle Larson doing the double. Fuck that. Who cares? Not Kyle, obviously. We'll get to that later. And then, can Palou win on an oval? We already said loudly on the internet that he couldn't win the Indy 500, so I sure hope
It'd be
he does
really
it.
embarrassing for a second time in a row if the Indy 500 made fools of us.
We're so bad at this. We said Robert Schwartzman was going to get bumped and Alex Palou wasn't going to win. We're so
He
bad
should
at
have gotten
this.
bumped.
We'll get to that later. My favorite was they were like doing the rain delay and they had to like talk about like all the people in the front row just like kill time. And they're like, we have Takuma Sato, like how exciting. And Townsend Bill for no reason is like, he's 48 years old with a backup car and 2 broken ribs. Old people can't do these things. Everybody knows that. That's why he broke his ribs, because he's old and frail. And I was like, whoa, easy on my boy. I was so excited for Takuma Sato, and Townsend Bell was like, actually, he's fucking old. He should be a commentator like me, like everybody else who's old. Duh. Yeah, Takuma Sato didn't win either, but he had a good time, I think.
Oh, he did really, really well.
Time.
And he did it in an RLL. We have to talk about the RLLs. We'll talk about them, but that's just crazy.
My favorite part about the pre-race was the fact that they hired a DJ to do the driver intro song. And what did he go with, guys? Guess. Did you guess Crazy Frog? Hopefully, because that's the right answer. For like a long period of time, they did the driver intros, and the whole time Crazy Frog was playing in the background. Do you know how insane that is? Why did you pick that?
Because it's good and it gets the people hype.
Where did they find this DJ? On Craigslist? Like, what is happening here? Why are we
probably
playing this?
University of Indiana. They just went to the closest frat, and they're like, anybody here
got
want a DJ?
Turntables? You guys got something good on a USB you can plug in real quick?
Yeah.
I thought it was insane. There's something about like the biggest day of their lives, and they're going to intro to ding ding bing bing bing. There's something insane about that.
It's beautiful.
Okay,
that's what freedom is about.
That's what God intended. Take me to God's country, and it's just the IMS with bing bing. I love Indianapolis 500. Woo! The Indianapolis 500-mile race presented by Gainbridge.
God bless the Volgov.
Well, we're about to have a bad time right away because we start the pace laps after the rain delay, and Scotty Mac crashes, and it's so fucking depressing, and it's so sad. And I was like, I don't want to do the Indy 500 anymore. I don't want to do this.
Right off the bat, they're like, oh my God. They're like, yeah, there's a crash. And I was like, no, there's not. We haven't started yet. There's no crash. And you just see, like, front of his car is destroyed. Like, it's destroyed. Like, he spun it out hard. I
thought, like, oh, okay, here's Robert Schwartzman. Like,
Kevin.
I was like, Kevin, like, Louis Vogler. Where's Devlin? Anybody got eyes on Devlin? I couldn't have imagined it would be Scotty Mac. And he was so sad, and he cried, and the cameraman was zooming in on the tears, and I was like, no, don't show it to me.
It was so sad. And, then
And he
like,
had
Scott
such a good
Dixon is-
chance, too.
I know. I thought he was gonna win. I literally had said I hope he wins, and then he crashes. And then Scott Dixon starts smoking.
Yeah,
And then
Scott
they try
Dixon's
to-
fully on fire.
They tried to blame Scott Dixon because they didn't get a replay of what happened to Scotty Mack, and they're like, he must have had contact with Scott Dixon. That's why Scott Dixon's smoking. And then they were like, wait, they're in like very different rows. How would that even happened?
Yeah, that's
Fucked up. they had to talk Will Buxton down. He was like, yeah, Scott Dixon definitely. And Townsend was like, we don't know that. We don't know that, by the way. We're just speculating. Allegedly, it was Scott Dixon. But it turns out Scott Dixon's like brakes were just on fire. They're like cooled down a little bit, buddy. Scott Dixon didn't have a good day today, did he?
No, because he had to go into the pits to fix his brakes, and then he came out 3 laps down. He was stuck in 3-lap down purgatory the entire race, and he just kept going back into the pits, and I go, they're going to do it, they're going to retire him, and he just kept going.
No, I love that he kept going. He was like, well.
He just kept going. Yeah, because everyone has a right to race in IndyCar.
Exercise your rights. Your right to vote and your right to race. Fuck yeah. I love Scott Dixon. Yeah, that would have been really sad if we would have seen that PNC Bank car getting on that car or in that tow truck to go back to the garage. That would have been really sad.
I would have stopped. I think I would have turned it off. Yeah.
I'm glad that didn't happen. Marco crashed pretty soon. I felt kind of sad about that one. Not as sad about the Scotty Mack one, but that one was just kind of like more sad.
That was sad. There was like not really anything he could do. They went 4 wide. I think it was Jack Harvey's fault. Just kind of danced a little bit in there. He spun a little bit. He only took out himself though. He nearly took out Marcus Armstrong, which I was like, that's pretty fucked up.
He did it.
But he didn't.
But then they showed his like family and them being like, for fuck's sake. I was like, oh, I don't think he was supposed to see that on TV. His family being disappointed in him.
Yeah, not great.
He's gonna have to go to therapy for that one, I fear. Sure. As we've already discussed. Where did we discuss? Was it on Live that we said that all of the IndyCar drivers should immediately get a voucher to BetterHelp the moment they walk off a press conference stage? Where did we say
especially
that?
at the Indy. Yeah, we were saying it on Live because we were talking about how all the Indy 500 drivers were just like, I'm not afraid to crash here. I have no fear.
But I think
crashing is fine.
It can double for Nepo babies that have family problems because of the Indy 500.
Sure.
BetterHelp's good for all. We're not sponsored by them. We're not
no, and it's actually kind of sketchy.
I think it's a little bit of a weird company. Don't use it unless they pay us. No, I'm just kidding. Joking. But then we have for a little bit there. The caution has to come back out for the rain. If you're new to IndyCar, they can't race in the rain. It's just like it's dangerous enough. Have we not established?
It never really rained. It only just kind of sprinkled. And I was like, I've seen them drive in torrential downpour before. Like, I've seen it. I know it is IMS, so obviously be a little bit more cautious. But I don't think there was ever full raindrops. I think it was just, like, drizzle and, like,
Do you
spinning.
think that they did it just to fuck over Kyle Larson?
Absolutely.
I think they were like, yeah, you're not doing that fucking double, buddy. We're going to put a stop to that. Because he was on a tight schedule, everyone. We'll get to that later. We had for a little bit there an ECR front row after like some of these cautions and stuff like that. We had Rossi, Christian, Ed Carpenter. And this is where I was like, do we have an alternate strategy blooming here? I don't know what's going on here, and I'm confused already, and I don't know if I like it or not. We never got to see how it played out for Rossi, unfortunately, because he had something going on in his gearbox that was like causing smoke, and then he was leaking some sort of fluid on, I think, Alex Palou's aero screen, which honestly, they showed his camera. I felt so bad for Alex Palou. Not that he needs me to feel bad for him. He did fine. Couldn't see shit. And they were like, yeah, there's definitely some sort of liquid coming out of Rossi. So he comes into the pit. I don't know why, but they go to put in fuel while his car is smoking. Did I miss something there, or was that just a bad idea?
It was like, there was like an excess, like, fuel splash was the issue.
Oh, so just
they probably shouldn't have
been
fueled the car, period. Mm-hmm. They like had him stop, and they're like, you're gonna have to wait here so we can run like a diagnosis. Whatever. I was listening to their little onboard. And then, yeah, they bring out the fuel, and there was just like an excess fuel splash, and you can see a little fire starts, and it just gets huge. And
Rossi
the fuel caught on fire.
Mm-hmm.
The car's completely engulfed in flames, and so Rossi books it out of
know.
there. Thankfully, sounds like everyone was okay for the most part. I know the fueler had injuries to his hands, but...
Yeah, but I think he was, like, able to remain for the rest of the day, like, on the pit box, and, like, wasn't, like, you know, taken to the hospital or anything. I think it was just, like burns on his hands that were, like, treatable first aid type burns. And then, obviously, they wear very protective suits, so, like, it burns through the suit before it would ever get to him, which is great. I felt bad for Rossi because he had no idea anything was happening back there, and then all of a sudden there's fire. And I feel like that's really scary when you have to see a driver, like, have to actually do the thing where they have to, like, get out of the car, or else the whole thing might explode. There's something about that I don't enjoy watching. It's very stressful.
Yeah, the whole handling of the situation was weird. They were kind of talking about it on the broadcast because there was clearly something like wrong with the car, like dangerously wrong with the car, but they were very casual about it to Rossi, where they were like, why don't you just, like, you should box this next lap. And I think it was James Hinchcliffe where he was like, you should be a little more urgent with him and be like,
Yeah,
be cautious, slow down,
because he was gonna lose it. He was like wiggling, and he was like, he doesn't know what's wrong with the car. You gotta fucking tell him, or else he's gonna lose it in a wall.
Well, and he can't tell there's anything coming out of the back. Like, he doesn't know that he's actively leaking something. Yeah. So I think the whole thing was handled pretty poorly, in my opinion.
But, I mean, Rossi was obviously upset with what happened, but he was confident in the car. And hopefully that means ECR can do the same thing next year.
Next time they go to the Indy 500.
And it seemed to be that then that meant Christian and Ed Carpenter for a little bit there, and then Marcus Ericsson, who kind of accidentally fell out of sequence with the normal pit strategy, were on this weird alternate strategy. And I was like, all right, we'll put a pin in that, see how that plays out. That's the thing about the Indy 500, is this is your first time watching. It's okay if you don't 100% understand what's happening with the oval strategies, because most of the time nobody really does until it starts to kind of play out. It's a long game, and I was like, okay, we'll come back to that, I guess. VK lost his brakes coming into the pit. Do you think that that's actually what happened?
Mm-hmm. They didn't have any rear brakes.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel better. I kind of felt like it was like, is this one of those times where, like, they just say that to make the, like, mistake not look
No, he was driving a Dale coin.
Okay, that's good to remember. So that just happens sometimes to them?
Sure.
Well, that would explain why he spun coming in. Hey, it slowed him down.
Sure, yeah.
The spin slowed him down, and that's good. Somebody else who says they might have lost their brakes. I don't know what happened to him. I feel horrible with how this played out. Robert Schwartzman accidentally hit his entire pit crew with a car.
Yeah, he had, like, a total front lockup, which was the second time, like, coming down pit lane he had that issue, because he had it earlier coming down pit lane, and then at the end when he was trying to go into the box, and he just lost it.
Is that a driver error?
I don't know. Maybe.
He's like, we're gonna have to see what happened. And I was like...
And this was his second pit stop. His first pit stop earlier during the first pit cycle, that was just filled with just insane pit stops. Prima, maybe slowest pit stop I've ever seen. And then Kyle Larson, which I think is important to note, was in the wrong gear trying to come out of his pit stop. He was in second and stalled
out the car.
Nice.
Yeah. Sick. Good one.
That'll be a theme for him today, I think.
The thing about Kyle Larson, we can get to him. He's next on the schedule. The thing about Kyle Larson is last year he admitted to not knowing how anything really worked on the car. He was like, I didn't make, like, any adjustments and shit because I was like, this is confusing. I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing. So this time around, he was like, I know now how the steering wheel works. I know, like, all of the adjustments I can make in the car. Like, I know what I'm doing, so I'm going to do better. I feel like he doesn't know what he's doing with any of the steering wheel stuff, any of the adjustments. I don't think he's, like, learning the car. Like, the whole thing about Kyle Larson is that he's supposed to be able to, like, just get in this car and he can do any car. He's, like admitted, like, mechanical not understanding how this car works.
I think it was worse than that. I think he was scared. I think something happened. Well, and I think I kind of talked to you about this. He had that first crash during open testing, which was bad. He had another crash. Was it the Fast Friday? Was that?
Yeah, he came out in the first lap of
first
Fast Friday
time,
and
right?
binned it.
And then he talked about during qualifying how he didn't want to go back out there. Like how he just like, after he had done his initial qualifying, he was like, I don't want to go back out there. I think I'm going to have to go back out there. I think he was scared, and I think that's what led to his fuck ups. Because I think he can do it. Like last year he did fine, besides outside of the penalty. I think he can do it. I think there was too much going on. I think he was stressed about the double. And I frankly think the head game kind of got to him, which is why he's making these like silly errors that like.
So he makes a dumb error where he tries to go around somebody and goes too low on the track and just loses it. And in the process,
that was a shifting error too. He was in the wrong gear. Yeah. He unnecessarily went into the wrong gear. It kicked him sideways, and he collected all of my children.
Well, he took out Kiffin Simpson, and then he in a way took out Stingray Rob, which Stingray Rob avoided. He actually looked like he was going to get out of it. He accidentally brushed the wall, though, and then it fucked with his steering. Yeah. And he, like, just hit a tire barrier. Did you see the way he hit the tire barrier? And then all the rainwater on top of the tire barrier, like, splashed onto him. It was really sad. If I was Stingray Rob, I'd be like, no, what the fuck did I do? But, I don't know. It is interesting because he talked about later on that night, like, the stress of the time of it all. And I think what really affected this year, you are right. I think the stress of, like, last year, he wasn't going to lose all his playoff points and shit. You know what I mean? Like, they purposely made it at NASCAR, like, as stressful as possible for him. If you don't watch NASCAR, he basically is in the playoffs, but NASCAR was like, if you don't make it here in time, you're going to lose that. You need to show up to NASCAR. This is your job, not IndyCar. And they, like, made it so high pressure, whereas last year, he was kind of like, oh, what's the worst that can happen? I missed the Coke 600. Like, I don't want to, but, like, it's not that deep.
And he did that, I don't know if it was a post-race interview. I sent you the tweet.
Yeah.
Where they asked, like, after this year, like, are you, like, fuck the double, I don't want to do it, whatever. Or would you consider doing it again? And he said, he was kind of like, it's too fresh right now. I don't really know. I need time to think about it. But he was kind of like, I don't know if I would ever do the double again, but I would love to do the Indy 500 again. And so I think last year he was able to put the dedication and time into doing the 500. Whereas this year it's like, I mean, I can put as much as I want into the 500, but I'm not going to be able to do both. Like, I'm not going to be able to finish it.
Yeah, he was already at the point. He straight up, like, even if he hadn't crashed, he would not have been able to finish this race. The time
they were
going to
pull him out. And he didn't know, he also didn't know that. They didn't tell him, like, hey, you're only going to be able to do, like, 150 laps. He didn't know that until he crashed, because they were going to have to pull him out early so that he would make it to Charlotte.
So, I don't know. It's very, I really hope NASCAR, I'm gonna be honest here. I don't really give a shit about Kyle Larson. I hope NASCAR changes this rule. Because it's like, I think it killed the double. The double's dead now. Nobody's going to try to do it from NASCAR as long as this exists, where, like, they're going to lose their playoffs. I think they want to, but, like, Kyle is straight up telling you, like, time and travel-wise, it's too tight of a schedule.
What about the other way? You think more... I mean, IndyCar drivers have nothing to fucking lose by doing the double.
The IndyCar drivers will be like, okay, bye. Fuck you guys, I'm going to go to Charlotte. Because, like... the Indy 500 can be a very long race, or it can be a very short race very quickly. You know what I mean? Like, if there's no rain and maybe you don't win it and you don't have to do all the press and stuff like that, you can just do a top 10 finish in the Indy 500, get on a plane and go to Charlotte. No problem.
Yeah.
And they don't, they have nothing to lose. I think it'll go the other way, but I don't think NASCAR people will go and do the Indy 500 until they change this rule, which kind of sucks. NASCAR. I don't even like Kyle Larson, but you're making it not fun anymore. Boo. If they get in the playoffs, they get in the playoffs. They don't need to go to the race. You made the system, not me.
We gotta work on some things. NASCAR.
because like there's other people. The other reason why they have the rule, if you don't watch NASCAR, I feel like people used to get penalties where they would get suspended, and then they'd be like, well, I don't give a fuck. I'm in playoffs. Suspend me. I'll have a week off. I don't care. And they didn't like that, so then they also made it so like you really don't want to get suspended for a race. It can fuck you over.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's not.
NASCAR, stop not being fun. I thought that's what you guys were supposed to do, is be fun. Newgarden has a pit stop. Everything looks fine, and he comes right back in for another pit stop, and it was something with his fuel pressure. I don't really know. The fuel wasn't going in the car. He need gas to go, and they couldn't get gas in the car.
Fuel pressure issue late in the race, like 130 or something.
Yeah, so that was actually kind of sad because I feel like that's like the closing of another storyline. Like we had like the double done, closed that storyline, and then we closed the Newgarden storyline, and that was actually really sad because he was at that point I think like top 5, maybe not quite top 5, but definitely top 10, and like it started to look kind of like he could do it.
Oh, he would.
Like, that would have been so cool. Fuck, that would have been so cool. He, like, got up to the top 10 so fast. Like, literally, like, twice as fast as he was supposed to as far as, like, their little goals for the race. Like, they
less
had
than
done,
halfway, he was up to P10.
That's insane. He would have fucking gave Alex Palou a run for his fucking money. We would have had a mustard and ketchup on mustard and ketchup crime.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been insane up there. And it's like, I don't know, it was like kind of sad because like that was probably the closest we'll ever get to like a triple, I would say. A three-peat. I feel like it's
I think probably Alex Palou will do it.
Chip Ganassi's already cooking up what they got next.
At this point, he's the only one who can drive the hybrid. Yeah, I think if we don't make any regulation changes, he will be the one to do it. If he stays in IndyCar that long.
Yeah. Fuck it. He may at this point. Maybe he will consider the F1 thing. I'm like, it'll piss Zach Brown off. That could be fun. But then, I don't know. I'm reading back these notes and I'm like, was the Indy 500 sad? I don't know. It kind of feels like it might have been sad. Because then we have Connor Daly and Palou absolutely battling it out for the lead. Or the lead at that moment.
Well,
what?
I was going to say, I feel like you're missing the Ryan Hunter-Ray storyline.
He was at this point still just a dream, though.
He should have won it.
He was in that weird alternate strategy, right? Where they were like, is this the right strategy? We don't know.
He was on the same strategy as Marcus Ericsson.
It was like him, Christian, and Marcus Ericsson. And they were like, yeah, run on a race. They kept saying, like, they're leading the race, but that's not the right people that are leading the race. It's definitely Alex Palou and all them. And I kept being like...
Well, because they still needed to... in their mind, needed more pit stops, which I was like, I don't know if that's exactly what the alternate strategy was going to be.
But what happened to him? What happened to Ryan Hunter-Ray? He like stalled out or something?
He went in for a pit stop and the car stalled and that was the end of it.
But
he should have won. And his car it was a pit stop demo car, is what it was. It was a pit stop training car. That's what it was, because he's a one-off car, and so he doesn't have a backup. And so when his car lit on fire, his chassis melted, and so that's why he was running the installation laps Saturday morning. So his car was the pit stop practice car that they turned into an Indy 500 car, and he should have won had he not had that error. I'm 100% positive he would have won, which is what's so crazy. In a backup car. Like, barely even a backup car.
What is wrong with this sport? Why is it the way it is? That's insane.
That's crazy.
Could you imagine if he would have won? And they would have been like, this is a show car. I would have been like, I don't know what to do with that information.
Well, it's not a show. Like, it is a car. It's the same way that, like, Marcus Armstrong's car is a car, but it's like, that's not an Indy 500 car.
Right.
At all. But... no, I truly thought he had it until he didn't. It seemed like a lot of races died on pit lane. A lot of the race happened on pit lane.
Alex or Connor Daly had a similar situation on pit lane where like he was racing Alex Palou for like what the commentary thought was the lead. They had written off Ryan Hunter-Reay's strategy basically entirely, even though that was probably a bad idea. And there was all this excitement, all this like people cheering for Connor Daly. He was like battling it out hard. And then one of his tires or something just went like kaput, like a rear tire just went kaput. And then like he was like, well, bring me in. And then the pit crew was like, but then you won't have enough fuel to get to the end. So you have to keep going. And he's like bleeding places. And he's like, bring me in. And they're like, no. And that was it. That was it for Connor Daly's race. He eventually came in and like they fueled him back up and did like what their original strategy was. But there was no budging on that strategy, unfortunately. I don't know. What did you think about that? Do you think they should have brought him in and just seen what they could do?
I mean, they had to bring him in because he was losing the car. Like, he was fully losing the car. But then, like, in a post-race interview, he was talking about how, like, the last 2 sets of tires, he was like, I don't know what was wrong with them, but they were worse than any of the tires I had all day. So I think it was just shit luck.
Damn. That's who I want. I want Connor Daly to win the 500 so bad in my lifetime. Like, I want to be at IMS the day Connor Daly wins the 500.
Yeah, that would be sick. I just hope he's in IndyCar next year at this point.
I know. It was, like, gonna be his magic ticket. Like, I genuinely was, like, for a second there, I was like, he's gonna win the 500. This is, like, this is his ticket. The moment he wins the 500, he'll never have to think about a sponsorship again. I think Connor probably thought that. He was probably in the car like, yay, this is my end of my crypto problems. Fuck. That's really sad. But then we at this point now have Marcus Ericsson, who had a great pit stop, had fresh fuel ready to go, and then Alex Palou, who was fuel saving. And this is what the race basically came down to. And then we have 2 lapped cars in front. Just part of the mix, having their own little time up there.
Swapping
because
positions.
You know, just doing whatever. Who were was it Louis Foster and
it was Louis and Devlin who were swapping positions in front of the lead car, which like I can't even be mad about because earlier when ECR cars were doing it, I was like, yeah, okay, fuck it up. Oh, yeah,
but that was fun because they're our friends now. I don't know Devlin and Louis like that, but I was really thinking that Marcus Ericsson was like gonna come out there and just start like cooking. Like I was like, you have the fuel. You don't have to fuel save. Send it. And it just never really happened. Like he never just
He couldn't get
it.
around him.
He was like just hanging out behind the lapped cars. And then he was like, we're just going to do this for the rest of the time. And then Alex Palou did what Marcus Ericsson thought he couldn't do. And what I also thought he couldn't do, which was just pass him and be in front. I was like, you have enough fuel for that? I was texting MJ. I was like, he can't do that, right? He's not allowed. It's not. He doesn't have enough fuel. Guess he did.
Marcus Ericsson, bless his heart, left the door wide open.
Didn't even think that he would go around because he was like, you can't. That's not how fuel math works. Alex Palou said, fuck your fuel math.
That's going to haunt Marcus Ericsson for maybe the rest of his life.
Like, that wasn't even like a Pato gets passed by Joseph sort of. It was like, it was
you
even
let him by.
You
waved
call it
him
a
by.
pass? Yeah. Yeah. He's like, who is that? And he's like, oh shit, that's Alex Palou. And then like, I still don't know like how he wasn't able to get him back. Like he just couldn't get the run on him after that. I was like, okay, there's like 18 laps left.
It's famously hard to pass unless you're in like the front 3 spots at Indy. And those front 3 spots, like, without traffic in front. But I think he just had a tow, is the thing. He was working with the RLLs, and there was nothing Marcus could do. And then we heard Palou, you got all the fuel you need. And I was like, no,
when he said that, race. I was like, when I heard that, I was like, fuck, they have an extra fuel tank or something. Chip Ganassi figured it out. Crazy. They just have something. They have something going on here. They just broke fuel math. Marcus Ericsson, if he could have heard that radio, I think he would have thrown up in his car. Mm-hmm. He was like, you aren't allowed. That's not how fuel math works. I actually was really excited for Marcus Ericsson because I thought he, much like Connor, maybe he's not in a for sure place with his seat, and that could have really been helpful for him. You win the 500, it's a get out of jail free card, I feel like, for at least like a couple years.
No, I don't think so.
You think you can lose your seat right after like winning the 500?
He's great at the Indy 500, and he's just not put up results anywhere else.
I just feel like
and so it's
optics of firing the guy who won the 500. It's impossible for my brain to compute.
What about the kid who you have dominating Indy next under your team, who gets a scholarship the next year? Where's he going to go? Are you going to keep the Indy 500 winner who puts up 0 points anywhere else? Or are you going to keep the kid who dominated Indy next?
Well, it doesn't matter now because now Marcus Ericsson's for sure gone. But I was like, but you can't fire the Indy 500 winner. There's like a rule in there somewhere, right? You can't do that. I will admit ignorance here. I didn't know what the IndyCar rules were for finishing under a caution. I don't know why my brain computed for a second like a NASCAR overtime sort of situation. So I was like, oh, okay, like Nolan crashed on like the last lap or something, but I was like, we're going into overtime. And then they're like, nope, Alex Palou wins. I was like, no, it can't be that easy. No, we can't keep getting away with this. But I can't hate Alex Palou. I love Alex Palou. I'm very happy he got his first oval win at the 500 because like that is just so like it's breaking everybody's brains, including my own. I was like, you're not supposed to be able to do this. I thought you weren't allowed to do ovals well. That was the only thing we had, is that you couldn't do this like one thing. And then he's like, fuck you. I can do the best of them. I can do the oval. What does this mean for the rest of the season?
It means the same thing for the first half of the season. Although it's going to be different when we get to the smaller ovals because he does struggle. Whereas he has nearly won the Indy 500 a couple times.
Do you think if we keep saying this, people are going to think we're on like Chip Ganassi's payroll? We keep like reverse jinxing Alex Palou? Like he's going to do bad, guys, I promise.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. What were your thoughts on the Indy 500 as a whole?
I don't know.
Good Indy 500?
I mean, what is a good Indy 500? An Indy 500 is a good Indy 500.
Is it one you would see in a 24-hour live stream on YouTube of classic Indy 500s? Is it Tubi channel worthy?
Well, everything apparently is Tubi channel worthy. I think we have a lot to learn from the hybrid racing. But to be fair, the conditions weren't set up in the favor of the Indy 500. It was cold as fuck. It was overcast. Mm-hmm. We had alleged rain the entire time, or drizzles or sprinkles or whatever. So I think there was a lot working against it. A lot of cars just didn't want to win and decided to go kaput on pit lane. That's odd. That's really weird. That's weird. That's odd.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it was horrible. I know a lot of people are saying this is like it was a horrible race. I think that's dramatic.
Who said that?
But
who said that?
That's kind of the discourse right now, is whether or not this was a
I had
race.
a good time. I had a good time. I didn't know people didn't have a good time.
Yeah.
I thought there was times where I was like, oh, what the fuck is happening? Why are cars on fire? But like I thought it was generally a good time. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I have a good time with every race that everybody else hates. So maybe this is a me problem. But I thought like it was a great race at the end between Ericsson and Palou. I was on the edge of my seat. I wanted to see what happened. I thought that like there was a good amount of different strategies playing out. Sure, the pit lane drama was stupid, but like I don't know. I mean, what we can't do anything about that. They don't want to do good pit stops. They don't want to do good pit stops. I don't know. They don't want to win the 500. Who of the like one-timer like entries would you want to come back next year?
All of them.
All of them? Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna need another Jack Hollywood Harvey. Please. For sure.
Dude, fucking Jack getting... speaking of the RLLs, that's not what we were talking about.
No, you're right.
Louis Foster had 2 penalties for speeding in the pit lane. 2!
Really?
He had to. Yeah, a bunch of them had penalties. We had a whole list of people getting fucking penalties for no good reason. Jack Hollywood Harvey also got a penalty, which kind of fucked him over. That's just what reminded me of it. But just the fact that Louis Foster got 2 penalties, I think RLL needs to scrap the program.
Hell yeah. That's what David Letterman gets for making fun of Jack Harvey on that podcast.
Yeah, made fun of Jack Harvey as we watched like Graham Rahal drop through the rankings multiple times. Multiple restarts just fall to the back. It's what doesn't make sense to me is, are you not making all of your cars basically the same? Why do we have Takuma Sato putting it on the front row? And then we have Graham Rahal, like, fighting for his life in the back. We have Louis Foster, who can't figure out how to not speed down the pit lane, as if are we new here? I mean, he is. Yeah, he is. Okay, never mind. He is a rookie. Dev is fighting for the front. I mean, Dev multiple times had a good chance of winning it. What are we doing? How is this possible?
I'm just saying.
Not even the FBI could figure out what's going on with RLL.
No, that's so true. I'm just saying, like, I think that there's a level of talent that Takuma Sato has that clearly the rest of the drivers don't.
You
don't think it was a talent issue at all?
Well, sure, a little bit. But the fact that you have a car on the front row
Right.
and then another car
All the way to the back.
P30th?
That's bad.
And
yeah.
stuck there? How is it that different? How are we not...
Maybe they cheated just for Takuma Sato's car because it's like just for this one weekend. So they're like, we can use all the stuff we stole from the other teams just for this one car because they won't notice. But if we do it for all the cars, all the weekends, they'll definitely notice.
I don't know. But then both Takuma and Rahal had issues on Friday. None of it makes sense to me. There's something going on there. Someone needs to figure it out and then DM me. Tell me what the answer is.
What I would give to send you into the RLL headquarters just for like a video.
I have questions. Be like, what's going on? How are you able to do this? Like, it's like at a certain point, it's impressive. 2 weeks ago, all 3 of them were in the Firestone Fast 6.
That was weird.
What's going on with RLL?
Fucking MJ's not taking her finger off the pulse here.
Dude, and who the fuck is Lanigan?
That's a great question.
Who is Lanigan and Rahal Letterman Lanigan? I've never seen Mr. and or Mrs. Lanigan.
I've seen Letterman. I've seen Rahal.
Frankly, too much I have seen Letterman. And I've never seen Lanigan.
Letterman's always there. He's always there. To our detriment. I love how I randomly now have beef with David Letterman. Like, I literally didn't until, like,
why was he so mean to Jack Harvey? Who has Jack Harvey ever been mean to?
I was like, I can't get past it. Like, I was like, you're such an ass. Like, I was like,
so
dude.
mean. And for what? You know your cars are shit.
Like, you cheated and you still suck. Why?
We gotta get Lanigan on the podcast.
Who is Lanigan? Dude,
I don't know.
Were you forced out of the company, Lanigan? Come forward. Come talk to us. I need to know. MJ needs to know. Let MJ sleep at night, and she won't until she finds out who Lanigan is.
I need to figure out who the fuck Lanigan is. I'm gonna look it up real quick, because what if they're, like, dead?
Oh.
Who is Lanigan of RLL? IndyCar.
While she does that, I'm going to read some of these post-race notes that she left. Racing quality debate. Well, I settled it. I said I had fun. Paddle award. Choosing lanes was like roulette. Erickson choked. Angry at the non-experience on restarts. Damn, he had lots to say. Crap race.
He was pissed.
I don't think it's the finish anyone want. I didn't know he was this mad. I thought we just had a good time. I'm sorry you didn't finish very well.
No, he was fuming.
Worst Indy 500 I've ever been a part of. Feels bad for the sellout fans. Pato! What is your problem? Why is he so mad? Damn. Well, buddy, I wanted you to do well too, but, like, I don't know if this was necessary. Is he dead?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't think so. But it does say IndyCar team owner Mike Lanigan returns after surviving health scare. So maybe that's why we haven't seen him.
What's the date? What's the date on that article?
March 23rd, 2025.
Okay, that's okay. Well, Lanigan, it's okay. You don't have to come on the pod. Get well soon.
I don't
Love
know.
you.
They never even talk about Michael Lanigan. Anyways, back to what we were talking about.
Back to Pato Award being pissed as hell. I had no idea he had this much to say. Erickson choked there. Buddy, we don't want to talk about last laps in Indy 500.
That's what I was like, this is all very bold to say, but he had the point about the restarts being like, it's like roulette, which was echoed by Felix Rosenquist, who was just kind of like, no, you just had to guess whether inside or outside was going to be better. And he's like, I chose outside. That was wrong. And he's like, I just dropped 4 places. He's like, there wasn't anything I could do about it. I just chose wrong. So I think that's an interesting conversation as far as like racing quality goes. Pato was just pissed in general. Connor Daly said something about he's very sure that there was something fucked with the last 2 sets of tires. I thought that was interesting because I'm very sad about his race. And then Christian Lundgaard, I didn't know this. Christian Lundgaard, he had a puncture early, which I didn't see because he wasn't in the front. And then also he had oil on his tear off, so he was just driving blind for a lot of it. Because he had his visor open.
Right.
I was like, yeah, no, you were really, I'm sorry about that. You were doomed from the start. And then Nolan Siegel, his incident that they never showed, love that they never addressed whether he was okay or not. That's completely normal. He was fuel saving pretty heftily. And, he was like letting cars by trying to catch a draft. And he just got offline. And that's why he spun. I have seen him. He is okay. He was on their social media, so he is alive. The Fox broadcast doesn't want you to know that, but he is.
That's good. Yeah, I wouldn't have known. They just showed the car, and then they're like, moving on. And I was like, okay, can we cut back
Alex
to...
Palou
Hey, what was that?
won! I was like, it'll take 2 seconds for you to show me him getting out of his car. That's all it'll take.
No, that's very true. They could have just thrown that in there. Bad day for Aero McLaren, then. Bad Indy 500 for Aero McLaren overall, I would say. Like
no,
4th or 5th
was fine.
for
Pato? It was literally a fine Aero McLaren.
Well,
it was fine.
It was kind of what we expected, right?
Yep. We had
Pato
in 4th, Lundgaard in 9th, which makes sense. He was right in the middle of people in the same strategy as him. Nolan Siegel finished P16.
Nolan Siegel finished?
Yeah, P16. Yeah, because he was on the lead lap. P17, not on the lead lap. It was Colton Herta. He was not on the lead lap. He had a penalty.
I didn't see much of him today. I did remember that he got a penalty.
No. He got a penalty, and then he was 2 laps behind.
Maybe next year, Colton. Maybe next year. Damn. Okay, Pato Award is going to be mad as hell going into Detroit, apparently. Have fun in Detroit.
Détroit.
Pato. Détroit. Have fun in Detroit.
Détroit. I think Christian Lundgaard wins Detroit. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Okay. I second that. Yeah, sure. That sounds good to me.
Okay. Fun.
Christian Lundgaard. Congrats, buddy. You won Détroit.
Détroit. Détroit, Jip.
Well, last year everybody was fighting in Détroit because they were mad about the 500 still.
Détroit is famously very chaotic because it's the second year. It was a shit show. It was raining. We had, 17 cautions. This was the first IndyCar race I ever watched, like, live. It was insane. I loved it. Scott Dixon won.
Hell yeah, Scott Dixon.
I love Détroit.
I'm gonna say Christian Lundgaard wins, Scott Dixon second.
P2. I would like Marcus Armstrong third.
Palou third.
No, I disagree.
He's gonna take his foot off the gas a little bit, but he's still gonna be on podium.
He needs to relax. I think he would do really well in P4. Take a breather, bro.
Okay. So you say Marcus Armstrong, I say Alex Palou in third. Do we agree though on Scott Dixon second?
Sure. I'll take that. I'll take anything at this point. I just want him to finish the race on the lead lap.
Yep. Laps down, getting into the predicting game. That's what we're up to now.
It works really well for us.
Yeah, we're really good at it, as we can see from this episode. Have fun in Détroit, guys. Off to NASCAR in the triple. Okay. So this race was like weirdly kind of boring, but like I think it was just boring because it was long. I was like, fuck, we're doing 4 stages.
so long. I cannot emphasize enough. It was like almost 5 hours long.
Just like be serious with me, please. Like,
That's an endurance race. You think these Gen 7 cars can go for 5 hours? No, they cannot. And I think it was very evident today.
Yeah. So, in the first stage, they have Kyle Larson on the front row, and he was pushing. He was going. He was zooming, okay? And I was like, all right, we got to put an end to this. Kyle Larson's not winning all of these stages and just running away with this. I'm not having it. And they were like, Kyle Larson's going to be driving mad, and that's when Kyle Larson drives best. I was like, fuck no, he's not winning this race, guys, please. Good thing Kyle Larson put an end to that for no reason. He was like pushing like a madman, even though he was like already lapping cars and was like 5 seconds ahead. And he hit a bump and then lost his car into the turf, not the grass, the turf. Why was he doing that? Why would he drive in that way?
Oh, he was trying to get away from Byron. I think he was fine for this. I don't personally have that big of a deal. I think had he not just come from the Indy 500 where he did what he did at the Indy 500, I wouldn't have batted an eye at this. I would have been like, yeah, okay.
Kyle Larson behavior.
And I'd be like, yeah. He wasn't the only one to do it, though. Like,
No,
4 other
he wasn't.
people followed doing the same thing.
I did find the turf conversation interesting. I didn't know this, but the like infield area where they like can run off at times is turf, so like they're fine. They just like get back out there. Whereas like if it was grass, you'd get stuck in the grass. I
It
thought
would
that was
damage
fun.
the floor of the car.
Should we just do that at every track? I mean, it's kind of fun. They kind of like zoom across the grass and then
Yeah,
they're
but
just,
then
like,
you
they're
can't
fine.
mow like fun little things into it. Like they do at Iowa, where they mow like a fun little thing into the...
Oh, yeah, they do that at Daytona. They had like a car in the
Yeah.
middle. It was very pretty.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
you're right. Yeah, you're right. Fuck turf. Over it. That was fast.
turf.
Already decided you don't have fun designs. I hate you. And also, they can't do fun little burnouts in the grass at the end of the race
No.
in the same way. So, yeah, fuck turf. Hate it. We had a rubber moment with a car that I've never heard of before, the 66. Some person that was just doing a one-off, I guess. Sorry, I don't know your name, and I don't really... Whatever, you had a rubber moment. I just threw that in for MJ. And then Alex Bowman did the same thing in the turf. Why did they... Guys... But apparently the bumps were like a big concern going into this race. They were showing like their cars and like inside their cars, and the drivers were just like knocking their head around, and then a bunch of them would hit the bumps and then like lose it in the turns. And Denny Hamlin said that you lose your vision if you hit a bump too hard.
Equated it to driving over a railroad track in the broadcast, is what they said. And I said, can I be honest? I do famously slow down when I go over railroad tracks.
I don't think you guys should just
never
speed
at
over those bitches.
200 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Rarely.
I think you guys should just chill a little. No, like Denny was like, yeah, you hit your head so hard that like for a split second you kind of like lose vision. And I was like,
Yep, checks out.
that's
But
not good.
NASCAR is so into repaving things. Like, what about this one?
It feels like it needs it. I'm not gonna like lie. It feels like it needs it. I think that there's like an interesting thing about oval racing that I just like every time I hear this, I just think there's got to be a better way. Most of the bumps are because of the tunnels, right? Like the tunnels that go into the infield. That's where like usually the bumps are.
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm just like, is there a way that we could like have ovals without the tunnels? Like, what if we somehow make it so you don't have to do
A
stuff on the
bridge.
infield? Oh, bridge. Well, no, I think that the tunnels are also for the haulers and stuff to get in the infield.
They have to have an infield. Like, I don't think there's another option. Bridge.
Hauler bridge. We crane them in. We just pick them up and crane them in. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments. Do you guys think we could crane the haulers in? Would that solve all problems with all ovals
yes.
ever? Did I just solve motorsports? You're welcome, guys. Hey, just in a day's work. It's 1 a.m. I'm getting creative. Fuck. William Byron won stage 1. I was like, okay, William Byron's running away with this.
Willem!
Yeah.
Tyler
yeah,
Reddick, though.
Tyler Reddick
For a second, I was like, maybe 23 isn't washed. It didn't last very long, but I was like,
Spoiler
maybe.
alert, they are. William Byron won stage 1, but he did have Tyler Reddick kind of breathing down his neck for all
Yeah.
of like stage 1 and I think also stage 2. And then what happened to Tyler Reddick? Did he just fuck off?
I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah. What did happen to him?
Where did
I
he
don't
go?
know. If you guys remember what happened to Tyler Reddick, can you let us know in the comments? Something happened
I feel
to
like
that man.
we lost him for a bit. Like, we saw him in stage 1 and stage 2. And then I don't remember seeing him again until the end when we're like, did he just almost
Spin
take out the
in
leader?
front of the leader? Yeah, so I was like, wait, how are you being lapped right now? How are
What
you being
happened to
lapped?
Tyler
What
Reddick?
happened? I don't know. This like race is such a and there's so many fucking monster cars. Like, why are you guys all here?
Oh, dude, fucking monster. We gotta get rid of one of them was an alcohol car. It said like 13%. Wait, that's really high, actually. It said like...
Yeah, I was like, is that not just a Four Loko? I think that was Tyler's car. I think that's the Nasty Beast. I think the Nasty Beast is monster
The
with
nasty
alcohol.
part is... That's
Alcohol.
insane. Hey, guys,
Isn't that a
do not
Four
drink
Loko?
that.
I
No, I
they
think
were
Four
bad.
Loko was like 14%. It was something insane.
I could see why that was a problem. I could see
Sure.
why that was an issue. Sure. Anyways, I love vodka Red Bulls. Anyways.
No.
Yeah, how are those allowed? Anyways. Speaking of Red Bull, we then had my son gets taken out by his hero. So they
Jimbo
kept saying
Jumbo.
they kept saying that Jimmy Johnson and Connor Zilic took like a really cute picture before the race, and I was like, "Aw!" And then they were like, "They're fighting." And I was like, "No, they're not." And they're like, "Look at them,
They
they're
keep
fighting."
making contact, and I'm like, oh.
I was like, "Well, one of these is an adult and should leave the other one alone because he's a child. So one of these is in the wrong, Jimmy Johnson."
No, they were literally like Jimmy Johnson's fucking with Connor Zilic, and I was like, I just saw Jimmy driving around Tom Brady like 2 hours ago. Is he doing the
was
double?
Doing the double. No, he was. I think he did do the double, but like in a like more chill way.
Oh, wow.
But then Jimmy Johnson just loses the back end of his car and then takes out Connor Zilic in the process. And then they go like to the post-race interview with him, and he's just like, rookie mistake. Like, you took out an actual rookie. You took out a poor guy on his second cup start.
Connor Zilic was fine. Cole Custer was fine. Everybody was fine besides Jim.
Yeah, he paid for his actions. But then Connor Zilic
like
was
him.
like 4 laps down. No, I like him too. That's why I was like, why was it you? If it was Cole Custer, I would have been like, expected chemical behavior. You don't get to make rookie mistakes when you're a 7-10. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. Sorry. But I don't know. I was just bummed. Connor has the worst luck with these cup things. And I'm like, is this what it's going to be like his rookie year? Like, when he finally gets his cup seat, am I going to have to deal with a year of cheering for him just for him to get taken out every race?
Especially if he's driving for Trackhouse. Yeah.
I hate it here. I hate it. They did, before the race, do like a whole segment on Connor Zilic, and they spilled some tea that I didn't know. That I guess Connor Zilic used to kart with Kimi Antonelli. And I guess in my brain I forgot they're like the like exact same age. And when Connor Zilic went over to Europe and like competed in karting championships, he's competing against Kimi Antonelli. And he was like, yeah, no, that Kimi kid's really fucking good. He's like the only kid that was better than me. And I was like, fuck, he was supposed to be my F1 hero from America. I hate it here. Now he has to drive this fuck ass car and get taken out by Jimmy Johnson.
Alternatively, maybe Kimmy was supposed to come to NASCAR.
That would have been really fun, actually.
That
Kimmy,
actually would
can
be
you do
sick.
The triple?
Kimmy,
Can you do
please do the double. Please do the double. Please do the double. Please do the double.
Please,
I think
please,
Kimmy Antonelli. This is a tangent. I'm sorry, it's 1 a.m.
No,
I
I love
think Kimmy Antonelli could do the Indy 500. Of all of the drivers on the Indy
He's
or the
psycho.
F1 grid, I think
my God,
he
you're
has
right.
he has the good. I think
He's the good kind of crazy. He's the good kind of
he's
crazy.
got it. He's got the I hit the wall. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I
No, when
crashed
I was
my
watching-
car. I'm not afraid to crash here.
When I was watching his little Netflix documentary that they made about him, they have like a whole thing of it about the day they announced that he was getting the Mercedes seat, and they sent him out an FP1, and they literally show footage of them saying, just go out there, you don't have to go very fast, just like have fun, don't crash the car. Kimmy literally did not ingest any of that, and he was like, I'm gonna fucking send it.
Hey,
I'm gonna go
I'm gonna
fast.
send it. I'm gonna go faster than Max Verstappen. And they're like, we didn't ask you to do that. He's like, I'm going faster than Max Verstappen right now. They're like, you're in the wall, Kimmy. And he's like, but was I faster than Max Verstappen?
I was really fast. Even Toto was like, yeah, well, the reason he was in the wall is because he was just so alarmingly fast. That's exactly what we wanted.
Dude, can we please get Kimmy Antonelli to the Indy 500? Oh,
I think it would be good. I think it would be really good. We just have to
He's
get him
so
on the
good.
sim for ovals. Like, start priming him for it.
yeah, he's like 18. Like, dude, he can win like 4 world championships with F1 and still have time to go do the double.
Yeah. Especially because it's on different dates now. That's why we did this.
This is so exciting. Wow, can't wait. I'm back to loving everything again. And then Riley Hurts in one of the... Sorry, my cat is eating a trash bag. In one of the many monster cars, decides to spin out in pit lane. Was that consequential? Did I need to say that? I don't really know.
I don't think it was, but I just think it's another point to, like, what's going on with 2311? Truly.
Why'd you do this? Why'd you chew this trash bag? Val, come get your son. He's chewing a trash bag. Oh my god, I hate it here. It's just like 1 a.m. Everybody's acting crazy. Nobody's being normal. Just like, you can't eat plastic. I shouldn't have to tell you that. And then Kyle Busch spins in the infield as well. I don't think that was consequential either. Because then William Byron won stage 2 and we just moved on. Okay. Zane Smith spun out. He did hit the wall in his
that was really
puppy
bad.
car.
There was a giant puppy on the front of that, and then he smashes it in the wall. I don't feel good about that.
He murdered
in any
the puppy.
capacity.
It was like a little golden retriever puppy
It was
or
the
something.
cutest dog I've ever seen. Probably AI, but I couldn't tell from where I was sitting. It was good.
Wait, did you see that they did something with AI in the Indy 500 broadcast?
Where they put like Michael Strahan into the broadcast team. Every time I saw that, I was like, Photoshop it.
Fucked up William Byron.
William Buxton?
He was there? William Buxton, full name. And like his face was all fucked up, and so was James Hinchcliffe's.
James didn't look good either. The only one who like looked normal was Michael, and then whatever the fuck Townsend Bell looks like.
You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to call it out. There's some people that use AI. Maybe there's some other content creators that use AI where you could just use Photoshop and it always looks worse. And the faces are never the face of the actual person. That isn't James Hinchcliffe. No. What the fuck do you mean?
I would have been endeared if they like did like a little Canva thing where they like cut him out. I think that would have been cute. They could have done it on paper. They could have cut out Michael Strahan and like put him. There's so many other options you could have done.
And all of them are more charming.
Fox.
Get it together, Fox. You know what? I had a good time with Prime too. I'm going to say that now.
I really enjoyed Prime, and I thought the broadcast team was very entertaining. At first, I was kind of nervous because I don't do well with change, and so I was like, I think I'm really gonna miss Kevin Harvick.
No, I was gonna miss Kevin Harvick. He was the only one I was worried about. I was like, I really like Kevin Harvick.
But I thought it was really well. Really
Dale
well.
Jr. Dale Jr. was like kind of fun because he would like mess up sometimes, and he'd go, "Oh, rats! I messed it up."
It was, that was really funny. And all the commercials I thought were really good. And they got John Fogerty and Eric Church to sing that song.
What is that song?
Running around the bend. It was good.
And then they were like, "Are you guys having fun? You can download this song right now on Amazon Music." I was like, "Fuck, I better get Amazon Music. That was really fun. I need that song now."
They were like interactive commercials too, where they were like, click enter to get in the car. I didn't
There's
do
a thing where if you click down, it'll show you all of the green flag and yellow flag moments of the race. It'll like tell you like spun out, like this person spun out causing a caution, and then it'll be like green flag came back out again. It's like a lap by lap. I'm like,
I like that. That was really cool. And I came in late because like I switched from my computer to my TV, and it was like, do you want to watch a little recap? And so I watched a little recap. It was only like a minute and a half long, and I was like, wow, I wish this whole race was a minute and a half long.
Hey, Prime is really fun.
It was good. I liked it.
Thanks, Jeff Bezos.
So glad it's only going to be here for 4 more races.
And then we go to whatever fucking streaming service is next.
I don't know.
And then this was sad. Daniel Suarez and Ryan Blaney and Chase Briscoe, they just fucking ran into each other. What is wrong with Ryan Blaney?
Love Daniel Suarez. but if Daniel Suarez is going to keep taking out everything I've ever loved, I'm going to send it through a
always
brick wall.
to your other driver that you like. It's always Daniel Suarez and a different driver that you like. And you're like, Daniel, it's getting hard to justify your actions.
So, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I understand why there's so many rumors around about you not having a seat next year.
I'll say it. He's the one who took out Connor Zilic last time Connor was here. I'll say it.
He did.
It was Daniel Suarez.
Him and Ross Chastain kind of both did it.
They were jealous. They were jealous of their child teammate.
Of their child teammate. Their child prodigy.
They're jealous of this child prodigy, and they took him out. And then they took out Ryan Blaney because he has beautiful blue eyes.
Dazzling. And it looked really good with his suit. There's something about, like, watching NASCAR after 9 p.m. where I'm like,
Did you guys all just get really hot?
Like, I like it when they show the driver's eyes.
NASCAR after dark. No, yeah, they didn't have like tinted visors. They had clear visors.
Yeah.
I think I'm scared of Denny Hamlin now. I actually liked Denny Hamlin before this race, but now I'm scared of him because this motherfucker was literally like...
They kept going, look at his eyes. He's not blinking. Look at his eyes. And then they would circle his eyes and they go, look at him. They're not blinking. They're not blinking. Look at his eyes. And I'd be like,
I'm scared. That and the SVG cam, they're so scary. No, don't make me look at Denny's eyes. He looks like he's like cracked out, bro. It's so scary. Oh, God. And then we have Carson Hocevar just being a god, okay, on these restarts.
What? And he famously is in a... No, he's not in a backup car, is he? No, he's not in a backup car. But he started from the back because he spun.
He spun. He started on the last row. And now he's in like third place at this point. And I'm like, Carson, you're a god. On one of these restarts, they showed him. He was in like fifth or sixth or something on the restart. And you can just see the commentators aren't talking about it because there's an actual race for the lead going on. But I'm watching that ride the Dente car go through the middle of two other cars. I'm like, Carson, you're a god. Fuck, you're so good at NASCAR. You're so good at NASCAR, Carson Hocevar. Good job at NASCAR. You are really good at it. Byron wins stage 3, and then fuck, that ride the Dente car just explodes on the restart into stage 4. Did I skip a bunch of stuff you wanted to talk about?
I don't know where we're at anymore.
We're on stage 4.
I'm following along with you.
Okay. Carson Hocevar blows up. Tell me where you were when Carson Hocevar blows up.
I was sitting right there. And I was like, oh my God, we're racing for the lead. I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if after this day of hecticness, we see a Carson Hocevar win? And then I just hear Dale Earnhardt Jr. And you never want Dale Earnhardt Jr. to break bad news to you. He's the last person you want to break bad news to you. And he goes, oh my God, Hocevar is smoking. And I was like, well, he's driving with a visor on. And you just see this I was like, oh, maybe it's just like a little bit of smoke. Maybe it's like a little bit of like Scott Dixon smoke. Like maybe it's just like a puff. And you just see this like stream of smoke coming out, and you just hear, fuck, it blew up. And I was like, but you're still good, though.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Carson. That's exactly what happened. No, that was the first time I've actually, I think, like, there's a thing when men watch sports. I'm sorry to my male audience. I hate when men yell about sports. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, why are we yelling about sports? You know what I mean? I've never been that type of person. I just, like, watch and I get mad, but I don't, like, yell.
Me neither.
And this is the first time I've ever yelled about a sports game on my couch, like a man watching a Super Bowl game or something like that. I literally went, I fucking hate this sport. Fuck. I was so mad because I was so ready for a Carson Hocevar win. I was so ready for it. He was doing
so well the whole race, and then retires because of a car issue. But at that point, I was like, are these cars or engines supposed to run 600 miles? Were they built for that?
He was the only one that blew up. I don't know if the Spire cars are supposed to do that.
That's true. Yeah,
maybe the Spire cars can't do that many miles. But it was actually kind of sweet because this is why I love this commentator team. I think they're very sweet. They were like, nice. They were like, Carson, I don't know if this is what you want to hear at this moment, but I want you to know, like, I've seen everything I need to see today to know that your win is coming soon. And, like, this is going to make you a better driver in this moment with your engine blowing up. And I was like, fuck, I think I'm going to cry again. It was so sweet. I think Carson gets so much shit for like how he is as like a young gun, like just like fucking sending it on people. And I think he gets like a good amount of these like older, more respectable people in the industry to kind of hate on him because he's like an easy target. And it was so refreshing to hear the commentating team just be like, no, he's a fucking kid and he's out there like trying to win his first NASCAR race. What would you do? And I was like, yeah, the guy's pissed. His engine just blew up in what would have been his first Cup win. Very seriously could have been his very first Cup win. And it's like, to like see them take a more positive approach to Carson in that moment. I was like, this is very sweet. And I think the Prime team can stay. I think you guys have
I know. It's nice. It's also like because Dale Jr. does have so many young, up and coming stars of the sport under his wing. Like I was Connor like, Zillage. Maybe like Connor Zillage, Sammy Smith. I think that's what Carson needs. He doesn't need to be bullied by Ross Chastain every week. He needs a father figure. No.
Yeah. No, I think he does. I think you're right. I think that Carson Hocevar is Dale Jr.'s son.
Oh, that's lovely.
And we all have a son.
We all have a son, famously.
Him and his wife are going to take good care of Carson.
Aww.
Him and his number 3 pickup truck, they're going to go everywhere together.
That's cute.
That's really sweet, and that's really cute. Dale, I need you to adopt Carson. I've decided you need to adopt him. And then I was like, okay, fine. Carson's out of this race. I'm all in on Denny then. Let's go Denny. Because this is like what was the perceivable next challenger to William Byron. And I was not going to allow William Byron to win. I was like, he's already won all of the stages. That would be boring. He's not allowed to win the race now.
And the Xfinity race.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you win all the stages, I immediately don't want you to win the race. And I know that sounds antithetical because you're like, well, that person dominated the race. They should get to win. And I think that's boring. Denny gets this weird-ass fucking message from his team that's like, hey, remember when we put fuel in your car? And he was like, yeah. And they were like, so the fuel actually didn't go in your car, and we're waiting till just now to tell you you have 15 laps left and you're going to run out of fuel. And Denny's like, right. Okay, that's what I thought you might tell me. That's interesting. We have 28 laps left, not 15. And they were like, If there's a caution, we might be okay. If there's not a caution, you're definitely going to lose this race.
I'm sick of this shit. Stop telling me someo's praying for the caution. There is no caution. There's no caution is coming.
There's not going to be a caution.
There's not going to be a caution.
Bitch. You're not getting a caution. Just because you said that, there's no caution now.
There's no caution. Waiting for a caution. Waiting for the world to change. Be the change you want to see in the world.
No, period. Period, MJ. Yes. No, it's so true.
I'm so tired.
Spoiler alert, the caution doesn't come. And so I think he ends like in like the 20s or something. There's no way he ends in a good place in this race. And Denny's like, I'm going to be honest, Denny handled that like way better than I thought he would. I thought he was going to light that car on fire because like I just thought he was going to be angrier.
I would have said, fine, if we're not going to have enough fuel, I'm going to park it right here.
Hey, let's give up. Let's give up.
If you're not going to do your job, I'm not going to do my job.
But then they give us like a very real play-by-play of the fueler situation. And they're like, so you can see here where all the fuel goes on the ground, not in the car. And they like circle it.
And then they like took us into the Prime garage and there's like, this is how the fueler works. And I go, this is too much information. I didn't ask for any of this. You're the one who should know this.
Yeah, just plug it in or don't. I don't care. So turns out fuel, you got to have it. And then I'm like, all right, who's next? Who's gonna take out Byron? And Ross Chastain appears. He goes, I think I could take him down. I'm like,
in a backup car? Is he in a backup car? He's in a backup car. He crashed. He crashed at the qualifying. And now he's in a backup car. Started P40. You know P40? Bottom. Back. And he's
far.
Where is he? Front. P2. In a backup car. In a backup car that his team made. They stayed up all night to make this backup car. I'm not even sure if any of them slept. I don't know.
No, they said that they finished at 3 a.m. and they were back at 5 a.m. with the car at the track.
Holy smokes.
Are you guys impressed yet? You should be. Because guess what this motherfucker does? He passes William Byron and
Wow.
wins the race. And they have fireworks. And he does a victory lap. And he does little burnouts. And guess what else he does? Guess. Show us to MJ. Demonstrate again. For the audio listeners, she's smashing that melon. Yeah, she's smashing that melon. She's putting a little tahini on it. She's eating it up. Yep. We're eating the watermelon. And if you guys are new here, this is very near and dear to us because we started trying to get F1 people into NASCAR by just telling them that there was a guy who rode the wall and then smashed the melon.
Yeah.
This is the day, guys. He smashed it again. He smashed the melon. Welcome back, F1 fans. The smashing the melon guy's back.
We are so back. There are no F1 fans listening at this point.
I know, I tried.
I'm not even sure there's any NASCAR fans listening at this point.
No, they like it. I think they like the show. It's 1:30. Yeah. So I had fun at the Coke 600. Trackhouse is back, baby. Trackhouse is back.
Trackhouse is so bad.
Where did SVG finish? I didn't want to look at him. Me and MJ have a thing where if somebody starts doing good, you just can't look at him anymore.
You don't look at him.
We looked at Carson too hard and his engine blew up. So you can see why we just like we don't look at people when they do good.
Mm-hmm. SVG ended in 14th. That's not bad.
That's not bad. That's like his
That's
first
not bad
top
at
20
all.
of the year.
That's okay. No, it's not. Don't say that about him. That's his first top 14. Be nice.
Is he still winning Rookie of the Year, or is that not happening?
Well, he's going up against fucking Riley Herbst, which, first of all,
how do you pronounce his last name? Yeah,
stupid name.
Is it a P or a B? I don't know.
Herbst.
They just were like, it
Herbst.
sounds too much like herpes. Put a B in there.
Went in with a D. I don't know who's winning Rookie of the Year. I'm
Robert
giving up.
Schwartzman.
I don't care.
He's winning. Robert
Louis
Schwartzman
Foster.
wins all of the Rookies of the Years. So the
You know what we didn't
600
get to talk about?
What?
Is this a good time to bring this up? That there's so many supercars drivers going to be at Chicago.
I know. We might try to go to Chicago, guys. I don't know. It's up in the air. The
My
world's up in the air.
favorite supercars driver is going to be at Chicago.
Is he in the Cup race?
I think so, yeah.
Does he have beef with SVG?
They were on this... No, because they're both Red Bull guys.
Oh, they're friends.
All the supercars guys are like... None of them are like villains. They're all like nice guys. They're all just goofy, silly nice guys.
I thought that Scotty Mac and SVG didn't like each other, and then they became friends.
They had... it wasn't as much enemies to lovers as the Daytona 24 wanted you to think.
But the
Rolex
Daytona 24... Rolex Daytona, at the Rolex 24 at Daytona, they did a whole segment. You know the one. They did a whole segment about how they were enemies to lovers, and then Connor is their love child. I thought I remembered that.
It was
or
something
did I elaborate a little too much?
You're
I thought
filling in
that's
some
what-
details.
Wait, who was it that said that? Was it you that told me that somebody else had said that Connor Zilic looks exactly like Scott Dixon?
Yeah, he does look like Scott Dixon, like younger Scott Dixon.
That's charming.
It's lovely. Oh, I love
like
Scott
that.
Dixon.
I love Scott Dixon. I love Connor Zilic. I wish he would have had a good race. When is Connor Zilic racing? Is he racing in the Chicago race in Cup?
I think so. You want me to Google it?
Please, can he race it in Cup Trackhouse? Please, can he have a little fun? All his supercar friends are going to be here with his dad, SVG.
His dad SVG. Maybe Scotty Mac will be there too.
All of his dad's work friends are going to be there. He's going to want to see them.
Aw, I don't know if he has another one announced.
Okay, well, let's get on it, folks. And I bet Catherine Legg will do the Cup race.
I love Catherine Legg.
When is the Mexico City race? That's soon.
It's June 15th.
Fuck yeah. That's the next time Catherine Legg's in Cup.
Rock on, dude. Because we've got Nashville
correct.
next weekend, which means we're gonna have a Tootsie's livery or a paint
Oh.
scheme. Well, Scott said we can call it livery, so I'm gonna call it a livery.
Oh, thanks,
And then we've
Scott.
got Nashville. Oh wait, I just said that. And
I
then
like
we've got
the popsicle
Michigan,
car, Scott.
the fun pop car. He doesn't listen to our podcast.
Yes, he does.
I don't think he does.
We'll find out if he comments and is like, thanks for the shout out.
We gotta wrap this up. We're derailing it. Is there any... Oh, do we want to do our NASCAR fan favorite?
Mm-hmm. You go.
I think my fan favorite is Ryan Preece because of the Choose V controversy. Mm-hmm. I thought he was really funny. He went back and after it was painted, he took a picture with it and he was like, I can see it now.
Mm-hmm. I think my fan favorite is... You know what? Fuck it. I'll give it to Ross Chastain, and here's why. He was sponsored by Jockey, which I believe makes men's underwear. I'm not very familiar with the topic, but he's wearing a white race suit, and when he was getting out of his car, his white race suit was kind of see-through, and I noticed that he was wearing Stars and Stripes underwear, and I don't know if that was on purpose by his sponsor, because they were like, we want your, like, I don't, you gotta show it off, or if that was like a choice by him to be like, well, I better choose my underwear based on the theme. It's America theme today.
I'm not convinced he doesn't always wear those.
And I think that's fan favorite behavior. You know what I mean?
I think so,
I think that's fine. I think that's fine. He has Stars and Stripes underwear, and I think that's kind of funny. He wore a themed pair of underwear for the theme of the race he was in.
I like that. Can't wait to see what he wears at the Roval.
Can't wait. He probably has a Roval special theme. What is the Roval theme? Laps down. He has laps down underwear. Don't wear that. It's weird.
Well...
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe after the hats we do underwear. Underwear drop.
We do boxers.
Weirdly, I think that'd be more popular than the hats. I think that would
I think so too.
Off. Well, it's officially 1:30 a.m. It's Memorial Day. Hope you guys have the day off. Hope you guys had a fun motorsports Christmas. And I actually think that this is the Laps Down episode. From now on, when somebody's like, what episode would you like to represent your podcast? This is the one.
I don't know if I feel as confident about that.
I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's the Laps Down episode. This is the last time we'll be able to do the triple together. Love y'all. It is. MJ, you're acting like the triple. It's done. The triple's
We
dead,
do the triple
babes.
every weekend. We do the triple
No,
literally every
not
We're going to do the triple next
triple.
weekend.
Not the triple.
We do the triple every weekend.
But this is the.
It's French.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Petit lemon.
Petit
Bye.
titois.
Bye. Have fun at
Bye.
Titois, guys. Bye.
Bye.